mal. So. So, well, guys. Welcome to the Ordered Weekly Online League Week 5. And for those who don't know me, my name is Pandy, and I'm so excited to be here again on this channel for another week, for the fifth week. And what I can say for now on, and this is like maybe the most amazing part of it, that actually the tournament again is full. Reached like all participants. So I was actually like looking during my time where I worked, and it was actually so amazing. And if I'm doing correct things, then you can hear actually also some music. Hold on a second. No? So what is the problem right now? Okay, there is like no desktop audio for it. What did I do wrong? But anyway, hey guys, welcome. Week 5? So many people are playing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And as you can see, I will not be alone today because with me together there is the Killing guy who's actually joining us. But he will arrive a little bit late. It's because of like work issues. So usually I would say something like, "Hey, join the tournament if you didn't join." But as you can see, I can give you like a small hint. This this amount of players actually were there around like already like during the early afternoon. You know, it was amazing. So many people's already like signed up, and I'm so excited again. So yeah, there will be so many awesome games, so many cool people, like maybe some people that we were known, you know, like players, but also like maybe some new ones that joined in. And if there's anything too loud or like anything else, then just let me know in the chat. And thank you so much for asking how I'm doing. Hey, friends, thank you so much. So I can tell you, I had the greatest weekend of my life because Monster Hunter Wilds actually released, and so I could spend like not the complete weekend because I was like on a birthday party, and on Sunday I was like on a board game stay to friends with like my girlfriend, and it was amazing. But in each time where I could just like sit at home, I played Monster Hunter Rise. The performance, no, that's not good. Everyone is like claiming about it, but it's completely fine. So it's like my most favorite gaming series. Actually, also like the only game that I'm actually like playing when I'm like on the PC, if it's not like Altered. And talking about Altered, it's such amazing that the European scene, especially, I will say it out. I will say it. I will say it. It's like so amazing that like those tournaments are getting always full. It's like not only like the AQZ championship is getting full, like the third. It's like the third time in a row. It should be the third time. I would say for now on, and I would say yeah, it should be. It should be. I'm not wrong. It's also like other tournaments, for example, like if something would be hosting like the Killing Spy Rookie, it's almost like getting like 50 to 64 players. Also like the AQC championship that like Keelan and for me, like our team that we joined in and hosting, also getting 64 players to like 80. And as it seems now, there are already like so many players requested. So I'm so happy about it. I don't know why like so many people start playing online. I don't know, but it's amazing. It's not only amazing to play for themselves, like for self, for myself to play on those tournaments. It's also amazing of getting seen. As you can see, my shelf actually went broke when I like opened it, And I wanted to fix it, and then I was like looking at the time, and I was like, oh boy, I don't have like any time left. So now it is what it is. It's all featured. This is like the stream background that I want to use for. Nah, just kidding. I will fix it as soon as I'm ending the stream after the tournament. I'm also like still eating, so I hope you had like a good lunch. And we still got like 1 minute left. So Keelan will be around like 15 minutes later or stuff like that. As I said at the beginning, he is still working, so will take a little bit longer for now. And then he will join in. I will hope through this VOD ninja stuff or stuff like that that we're using here. And yeah, let's see what will be the case for today. And I'm so amazed. Yeah. I'm so happy, guys. It's like it was the greatest weekend of my life. Thanks for the hard work, Plenty. No problem. No problem. Thank you so much for this tournament. Simon, if you're like in the chat, could you like tell us like in one sentence, how do you feel about that, like the A.W.O.L, especially like for European, also like for like the American zone, is like the biggest tournament now? Is there like, are you like more in the mood of, hey, that's amazing? Or how was like your first reaction, like describing in one sentence, if you could, if you want to share, of course. You don't need to, but if you want to share, how was like your first thing that you were like, I hope you know what I mean. I don't know what to add, what I should add. Yeah, so here it is, the tournament, and the tournament should actually start it right now, and it is, guys. And I would say you need to help me actually out. I would say out now the table, and for those who don't know who joined first, it would be 6th round, best of 1. The top 16 would be qualifying for the A.W.O.L Invitational Season 2. I still float that we're so large and have grown so much. So many amazing people who dedicated time each week to play, and that means the world to me. Oh, that's amazing. And it's like, actually, I'm also like so happy that like especially the online community is like growed up that much. I actually get emotional thing about how much it's grown. Oh, it's so hard to you. Yeah, so much. Thank you to start it. And I would say we go to table 7 because it's Nama Renee against Paviana, and Paviana is like a player name that I didn't like saw before, and this could be like maybe more and more the case. But I'm also like, I was last time. Oh, we need to go to the game. Oh, I don't need allowed to do that. I'm so sorry, guys. It's like, I love to play like on Monday, but to cast on Monday, but I'm like on a new work. And there is like some time difference, but this would be changed at the end of the month. And it will be a Sigisma against a fan. Interesting matchup. So I can actually say something about it because those are like my both main heroes that I'm actually playing. So what can I say? Let me see. So the most lovely thing about Sigisma, or like about the new Sigisma that's like being playing around in the way of like being like a little more control and a bit not like almost like the active sport, it's more like the reaction sport. It's like crazy. So I love how like the Sigisma went, and here we can see that the Frog Prince will be played out at the cost of 2 mana, 3/3. I got some amazing feedback that we will take a look a little bit longer about the cards for all those who like maybe watching the game like the first time in general, or like the tournament in general. So it's completely fine. And here we go. It's the Esmeralda and resupply and iGame boost for each card in your reserve at the cost of 2/3. That's an amazing card, and also like an awesome start because still like you need to turn the caster 2 pictures. Stream is content to get Cologne Cam. So it's just black for us. Oh, yeah, thank you. So if you want, you can have it here. So Keelan arrived a little bit later. I totally forgot it. And as the answer for Sigisma on the hero side, they will play the orders at Tony, because there's like the I would say for now on like maybe high guessed like either one rule of the Wisp would go like to the Hero Expeditioner, so to make sure that they're really like not progress there, but it will be also just like that the rule of the Wisp will be there, so both of them actually being able to progress forward through the Hero Expeditioner, what is really amazing, and the companion side will get blocked. Nice, awesome. And as long as the games continue, I wanted actually to finish my sentence. I will do it because we have the time. So I didn't show would have been fun with the rematch of AQZ finish. Oh, that's funny. So you are the Lindy player. That's amazing, fun man. If I'm correct. From week 2. Oh, I'm sorry, from week 2. Actually, last AQC tournament championship series, Lindy Way got undefeated. That's next on the list, getting killed actually on camera. Yeah, that would be awesome. Runefolk. You're Rune. I mean, Rune, you have like 200 accounts. I don't know. I stopped counting after I saw like the 15 BGA account. Just kidding. But nice that you joined in. So River City Esperanza will be played out again, and as we can see, there's actually a paper herald running down for the fan. Actually, a cool, nice card to play at the cost of 1. Also, I still don't know where to rename on YouTube. I cannot help you. I also don't know. For stuff like that, I'm just like spamming the support and say, please rename me. Yeah. But anyway, so now it's the turn for Sigismar. I have so many stuff to tell, but I couldn't start earlier. As long as you're thinking about their turns. So as Simon mentioned, it's emotional thing about how much is grown. And I remember when I was like writing with Simon of like when finally like stuff like European, you have to change it to the associate Google account. Asked for him. When we were like talking like at the first time like for the message through Discord message, and then when you announced like that the first European tournament will be hosted, and I was so happy because for those who don't know me, so I did also like the kickoff stream for the hour and then continue on that like before like on my Twitch channel, and I was talking about with my girlfriend, like I was like, if I remember like from September, like the starting, or was October, I don't know it anymore, like the month, but from now it's just like it's amazing. And then I was like sitting, I was like, oh man, it's actually being that long time already, and it's still feeling like I'm sitting here like for the first time talking to you. It's like amazing. It's amazing. So it's also amazing to always see those awesome matchups, and as we can see, the Hypo Firma will be played out, so both of them will be really, it's a pretty nice spell general for Sigismar, because Sigismar will be able to actually just like put the Orders Recruit to sleep, what's actually like not that bad, but it's like for an early turn really amazing, or like for a starting off for the turn, because there you could like getting like a strong character to sleep. Maybe it's not the best case like for the next turn, but still like in the case of being super reactive. And then we will see like the Orders Recruit with the discard effect, that you could create an Orders soldier in target expedition. So for now, Fan would be actually also still being able to progressing through the hero expedition, but there it is. We will see the front row mechanic will be played out. So our Sigismar player Narawinai will be able to still progressing and also being able to blocking it. And yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah, and also like with the stuff that continue then like to meet Keelan with the tournament, and afterwards like now with like our own tournament, where I like be so happy that I'm like the guy that can host it, and like with my team together, that's it's like amazing. It's an amazing journey, and I'm so happy for other stuff that's like coming also in the future. So let's see what it will be, guys. But I'm like so happy in general. So yeah, let's see. So Sigisma will now be the starting player for the turn, and the Thunder mechanic will be played out to the companion side. And here we see a Lyra Festival actually being played out. So on, I would say like on turn 7. Oh, actually with the discard. So on 7 mana, I would just like say that actually defend could be possibly it should be hard. But so it seems like it's like an actually Lyra Festival list that will be running. And there it is, the Harbor Farmer will be played out again. So just like again, another Orders Recruit will be put to sleep, and the sleep will be put down to Esmeralda. So now it's the starting turn for Fan, and there's still a chance to like play out the Will of the Wisps. Will of the Wisp, as I am always saying, like of the Wisp, it's Will of the Wisp on the companion side. So actually being at least able to block it, because the region type will be runner now, but also just like decided to actually just like continue to have the card still on the reserve. And I guess it's either because with that card actually our fan player Paviana will be able to rocking out the win condition from the Lyra Festival. It could be also just like the case for the next upcoming turn, maybe to just like tapping out, and there it is. We will see an Eva shard will be played also in the deck list. It's still interesting. So about like how which cards will be like played in the decks of our players that we will like see, can we share with you at the second round, because there it's like easier to get access to the played decks through the replay system. And then we are like 2 people that actually casting, so it's like not too much work. And here we go. It's the Kodama will be played out. I gain a sleep, run it played out from the hand, an out of action card, originally like from Muna. And our Sigisma player Namarina will be playing out the Baba Yaga, where you can draw a card. So being able to getting a little bit more like of resource wisely is like always a nice to have for Sigisma, because there's like a really high chance that you could run out really fast from your hand, because you're playing like, as you can see, maybe like low cost characters like in general, or like low cost cards. So there's like a high chance that you need to play like sometimes 2 to 3 cards in one turn, and it's like not the best case for you if you're having like not like a good hand, or like the reserve is almost empty every turn. But I would say for now, if there's something, another unique, and if you have 2 or more cards in reserve, up to 1 target character with hand cost 3 or less other than against anchored. That's an interesting, and if I'm the only character in my expedition, resupply, otherwise exhaust resupply. So with playing out the Will O' the Wisp, then actually there's the chance that the Lyra Festival will be proccing, but Namu could like having 2 answers for it. It's like either that like a removal spell will be played out, but as it seems like in the chat that I can read, there's already like in GG, so not a single removal came to me. So there are like 2 chances. There's like either the sticky note seals, where you could just like remove or discard target permanent, or just like card with cost 4 or more. So the Lyra Festival would begin, or just like with an helping hand to getting wind, or one of those win conditions. It's not the case, so it's one of the rare things that we see like an win with the Lyra Festival, and that like in such a fast game like that. That's amazing. So already GG to both of our players, and especially GG to Paviana, to win the first round with the Lyra Festival deck. Amazing. So let's go back to the main page, and I would say we have so many table stuff actually to getting past. Let's see. So I don't remember like who from our team actually. Oh, there's actually a team battle going on. It's from Order at Aces. It's Norino against Voodoo Bird. It's interesting. Always like to see if like team members playing against each other, like in actual tournaments. So we can take a look at that, and as we can see for now, it's actually a Sigismund mirror matchup. Both of them playing the Crown and the War, one of my most loved landmarks, because there you have like the with the ability to progressing through one of your expeditions, and there's already the GG, so I guess it was like a fast that we start together. And as we can see, like there are like some, I would say like common cards that like you could see like in any deck list of a Sigma nowadays. It's like the Check Frost, where you can like exhaust the target card in reserve. It's like the Orders Trooper, stuff like the Ebener Screws, or something like the Orders Overseer, are some cards that like not played that much like in those Sigma deck lists. And here we go. It does give you control 3 or more characters, draw a card. And here it is. We will see the teamwork training. I'm so sorry. So the Ebener Scrooge actually got discarded. That's like interesting. So there's the GG, and it's actually a GG for Voodoo build. In the case of like progressing on both expeditions, and afterwards being able to actually progressing forward through the Grand and the War, or like the ability from the Grand and the War. So yeah, GG to both of them. And as I can hear,
there, Pandy.
someone joined in here. Hello.
I'm here to crash the party. It's your friendly neighborhood kill-on guy. What's up? How's it going?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Oh, amazing. We're
Just
still
got home, just sat down. I hear, first round still. I saw there was a Sigismar involved in that game, huh?
Yeah. Damn, what's up?
How did they do? Did they win?
Now we will see like a mirror matchup, so one of them actually will win. No, it's like in the first game, the fan deck list won with the festival.
Oh, pretty cool.
There were like no removal at all that got like thrown out or anywhere like that. So they said like, okay, GG. And I was like, okay.
Well, I'm having the awkward situation where my Discord is not starting up yet on my PC. So if you could send me via Board Game Arena the link to whatever game you would like to join next, I'm happy to jump in with you.
On Discord or?
No. On Board Game Arena, please. My Discord is not starting up yet for some reason.
On Board Games Arena. Yeah, here's the tournament link.
Beautiful, thank you.
And then you could just like set it up down. Amazing that you joined in, guys. So now we're not alone. You don't have to be alone now. Be happy, be unhappy. I don't know. You can be whatever you want. So anyway, Keaton, as long as you're just like settling down, do you know Monster Hunter, the game series?
I do know of it. Actually, it's one that my girlfriend is passionate about from childhood.
Yes. Is she playing? Oh, that's amazing. Is she playing Wilds, the new one?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, guys, so you're lucky that Keaton don't play the new Monster Hunter, because then I would talk with you about how amazing the game is actually. Because I played it like the whole weekend when I got time, because the release were on Friday on 6 a.m. here in Germany, and I was wake up already like on 6 and played from there on. So yeah, it wasn't.
Meanwhile, I'm just completely unaware that there's any games that are not altered. I've quit everything else that I play. So.
Monster Hunter Stream Poke. Oh, it was funny because like the youth from my work, I'm working like with young people, but it's a cool. I never played. It's actually a cool concept. They always ask me if I could like then do like a Monster Hunter stream if I'm playing it, but I'm so sorry for you guys. Like the performance for Monster Hunter for now on is actually not so good. So it's not a nice. You cannot like enjoy it like with streaming and playing. like only playing the game is like hard enough with those performance. But after 1 month, then maybe like they would do a patch. And yeah, I would also say that you are like the most dedicated Outward player. I would also say like one of the
Oh,
most.
thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, of course. Doing
I
so much stuff for the game.
I've put a lot of time into it. I can agree with that at
Mhm.
least. I think my
Yeah.
problem is that I'm dedicated in a bunch of different directions, which ends up equaling to not particularly dedicated in any given direction, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
YouTube channel with 3 videos. I wish there were more. A tournament series, which I would like to continue, but lacking some time
Mhm.
sometimes. Competitive player, but not as high elo as I want to be because I'm doing so many other things. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
I feel it, but I'm really happy to be spending so much time commentating. Lots of really exciting new events happening, which I think is really exciting. And yeah, I'm happy in general. I'm loving this game. It's awesome, and I'm also really pleasantly surprised. I was personally very worried with the Trial by Frost set, at least when I started seeing spoilers. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's made things much more balanced. There's still a couple outliers here and there, but I'm liking where the game is at.
Mm. Nice to hear. Nice to hear. That's amazing. Mm. So actually, I had like a question for your mind, but I totally
Yeah.
forgot it. So maybe I will get it back in my head afterwards. But like the most common question that I like will give you like to the stream. So is there still a table that you want to join in and watch some amazing game?
Yeah, I think it's table 31 that I'm on currently. It's Tempête de la Neige finishing a game against Zadibuk.
Okay, I will tune in.
Which appears to be going. I expect this is going to a tiebreaker, but I could be wrong.
You dislike playing with this player. Let me see the reason why I dislike
Oh
Tempest.
boy!
Oh yeah, he's playing Afanas. There's a reason
Yes,
behind it.
yeah, I think he has pretty good uniques too, if I remember correctly. I don't think they're as insane as like the 1 mana Spindle Harvester return uniques, but if I remember correctly, they're pretty good, and it's like Tempête de la Neige is an excellent player. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Whoop. Closed my coach spotted. Yeah, coach. We need to watch coach. I'm sorry, guys. I just like minimized like the tab from my Chrome tab. I don't have the picture from the Afanas, like my big campaign. Good for you guys because there would be like a big rant. But no, jokes beside, it's actually a Kocho against Afanas. Both of them like almost being close to finishing out the game. But as we can see now, Kocho still being up on 2 mana. So if this hand card will not be the game changer, then there would be actually just like now a beauty sleep. Would be a beauty sleep enough for now? Maybe for
Not
a
to
tiebreaker, right?
win, yes. For tiebreaker, yes.
Yes.
I think the issue that I'm seeing is that there are multiple situations here where a 2 mana either character or removal, which we know that Kojo typically likes to play, could actually win the game if the wrong decision is selected here by the Afanas player. I think in general, going after Mighty Jin with Beauty Sleep is just an excellent line in this case, but in virtually any case, Beauty Sleep being one of the best cards against Mighty Jin in general because it essentially prevents that ability that it has from leaving the expedition zone. Both preventing card draw in the case of the rare Mighty Jin, but also just the typical going into the mana zone effect. So that's definitely a good place to start. But yeah, this is 2 mana removal coming out right here, and I do think that's going to be game that should be favoring the Kojo here.
Yes.
That looks like a excellent turn.
So GG to Saudi, and I would say for now on that Simon will dancing to see Coach winning. And I will start to dance after the tournament because I see an Afanos losing most of the best things, guys, that you can ever experience. I'm not joking. No, just kidding. So GG to both of them. So Kojo goes crazy. Yeah, it's true. So we still got like some tables up, and oh, it's like the third week in a row that like the tournament went full, and I'm thinking of like I was like checking like during work for the tournament, and I'm like almost sure that like the tournament already were full at 4 to 5
Oh no,
European time.
it was full at like noon.
At noon, yeah, but
It
I
was
was
really
feeling like
it was like
uh,
6 or 7 hours in advance of
what? That
the
much?
start. It was crazy.
Oh man, now maybe I was checking like around the time. I was like already that full, but if it's like was that okay, that's crazy. So Simon, can you just like giving us a spoiler? Is there a chance that the tournament will get like increased of numbers? Can you give us like is there like something planned? I actually don't
That
know it,
is
guys.
an interesting spoiler,
Yeah,
and I was thinking about exactly that today. If it filled up like 6 hours before the start
yeah.
time, what does that actually mean in terms of what numbers could the
Mm.
tournament reach? Because this is already hitting sort of crazy numbers regularly too. Um, I think it's definitely the case in general that people are viewing A.W.O.L as being the premier
Yeah.
event that people can play when they're not able to go to their local game store and play events and travel on weekends as well. So, I mean, it's been crazy seeing the
Mm.
level of players also playing these events. It's not like they're hyper casual either. Not that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with hyper casual, but I think like half of the players that keep showing up to these, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really good roster. It's
Yes.
virtually the entirety of Team Altered Aces at this point who are regularly playing.
They're taking
It's
over.
it's whoever from AQZ is there who is not commentating the event who's
Yes, that's
regularly
also
playing.
true. Yeah.
A lot of Team Agite as well, and
Yeah.
so it's definitely the sort of thing that everyone is joining wherever possible. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
But let's put it about 50. I will see, right? If you asked me a couple weeks ago, it was 20-80 chance in favor of not increasing. Yeah, I mean, there are like good stuff about like increasing, I would say, but like also like some new stuff that came along with those increasing numbers. I remember like the biggest tournament where like the go for Altred with like 165 players, and it's like a lot. But like in general, I have like the feeling that like especially like the European like tournaments getting filled up so much time. They're like the most renowned tournaments I would say that will run like weekly. Almost got like at least the 64 players full, right? And that's like
Yep.
something that I really enjoy that like the online community is that bigger. And I know it also like from like my local store owner that he's always like mentioning so many people are like buying displays, buying stuff for Red, but never showed up like on the local play. Even
Hmm.
if you could
Hmm.
get like the adventure pass, and it's like a high chance that all of those like just like playing online because it's like easy to access and you don't need to be there on that time. You can just like enjoy, and that's amazing. I'm liking it, and I'm already like excited how far it could like, go. Still continuing, so
We're just waiting for the
yeah.
last table to get finished up here before
Oh,
jumping into
which table
round
is
two.
it? Which table
It's
is it?
17, I believe.
17. Yeah, we can go there. Ooh. Favorite tier that don't play often. Oh, it's actually finished. So GG to HJT
Faunus wins. Big
Fushi.
surprise.
Oh. I'm so unhappy that we didn't join the table. Nah, just kidding. Okay, but now for the second round,
Ooh,
I would say you can choose a table again.
table 3, let's go.
Table 3. Oh, who's playing on table? Like so many players.
This is
Sabaiken. Oh,
Yes, this is
oh,
Izzy Lopez
oh.
versus Team Agite's
Yeah.
Sabai. I am particularly excited to show this match off because these two players, Izzy Lopez and Sabai, both played in the KGB Invitational this past Saturday, and Sabai actually won the entire tournament. So I'm excited to see whether he's playing the same thing, maybe changing it up a little bit. I'm also interested to see what Izzy Lopez is playing, but maybe it's sort of a grudge match here. Who knows?
It could be the case, yeah. And there was a question in the chat that we still can take a look because the game is still
Hmm?
loading. What's your favorite hero that you don't play that much, but you would like to play more?
Nevenka. Easy
Nevenka.
answer. Easy question, easy answer.
Nevenka. Boy.
I
Yeah.
think Nevenka
Yeah.
is incredibly strong, is
Yeah.
very strong without
Yeah.
necessarily having very good uniques for it either.
Hmm.
And overall, I just don't spend enough time playing the hero. I think in a lot of cases, Nevenka is sort of Afanis's little sister.
Yeah.
And I think it's very much felt for me that way while playing the heroes. I would just I get into good spots as Nevenka and then think to myself, well, if I was a Faunus, I would also have 2 additional boosts right now, and that would help a lot. And my small step giant leaps would be at common instead of at rare. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, I love the Nevenka hero. I think the die rolling mechanic is actually
Amazing.
really strong in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I think it's a really fun hero to be playing. And there's lots of cool cards in the Lyra faction right now that I've been really impressed with out of the new set.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, my answer would be Goldring. I would like to play Goldring a little bit
Ooh.
more, but it's still like being. I have like one guy that's actually passionate with Goldring, and it's always amazing to play against him because he can also like almost hostage the game, and there's like actually always like a close finisher. But I'm playing fans, so I'm drawing like 4 billion cards, so there's like a high chance that I will get this game. But like in general, how like the deck is played around now, and there are like some like cool lists, but I'm still want to wait like until like the lists get like polished good enough.
Yep.
And seeing good lists, I wanted to tell you that the game actually loaded. I
Yeah, we're
I
into it.
realized it
So
is written. It's
the
yes.
Sigismar took a double advance on turn 1, playing out a Baba Yaga onto the companion side. Tasia with a really solid line, though. It sets up a Spindle Munibastion, so they're looking to prevent additional removal this game. Then another advance was managed on the companion side, thanks to that Baba Yaga being played from reserve. But the Tasia has a very strong play here, playing out the Aloe Vera with Anchored, also unable to be removed thanks to that Spindle. And Sigismar was forced to pass there with 2 mana remaining. I can't help but feel like there was most probably removal in their hand that was sitting there useless thanks to that additional tough 2 from the Spindle that was in play. So
Mhm.
that's sort of nice for the Tasia here. Keeping around the Aloe Vera means I think their chances in this game are still relatively solid despite being 2 expeditions behind.
What do you have like a feeling about like the general matchup between Tisha and Sigisma? Is there like someone who is like favorizing like this matchup, or is it like almost like even of which deck would like getting the win at the end?
I have heard Sigismar players say that they are clearly winning the matchup,
Mhm.
and I've heard Tasia players saying that they are also always winning the matchup. Honestly, I have a feeling that actually, assuming configurations are pretty optimal, I think it might actually be a pretty good matchup for Tasia, but it's also somewhat draw reliant. The more removal
Mhm.
spells you find, for example, like this Lost in the Woods that gets resupplied here, I'd say the less optimal it is in most cases.
Yeah.
Virtually all of the characters that this could hit, it's just going to be way too overcosted to actually go at efficiently.
Mhm.
Um, you're virtually only playing into permanence with it, and so sometimes your draws can be a little bit unfortunate, I would say, into
Yeah.
just Sigismar in general. But overall, I do think that Tasia has a lot of the good tools to fight the matchup.
Yeah, and seeing finding a matchup, the Sigisma will be playing out the orders card on the hero side. We will actually see an Ogun almost like a nice to have for Tisha because there's like a high chance that both of like the characters, for example, now here the Torquina and the aloe vera, because Ogun being able with the effect to giving like controlled plans one additional boost that are like actually
Hmm.
pretty well over boosted. So being able to maybe now actually double progressing, but Sigismund still got like 3 mana left. And with like the general cost of like 1 to 2 mana, and like some cards that also like cost 3 mana, especially like
Hmm.
characters, there's like still a high chance that surely like the Sigma would be able to actually maybe defending the companion side or also being able to progressing forward. And those are like one of the most lovely things that the Sigisma, as I mentioned like before in this matchup in channel, will do, because from now on, Sigisma just need to make sure to actually progressing like on one single line or like on one single expedition to closing out the
Hmm.
game. But
Hmm.
as we can see, it will be the case for now that like Sigisma will be able to progress through the companion side, but it's still being like amazing for teacher being able to still progressing on both of the sides, so getting like a little bit closer to the state of game that our Sigisma right now will have. So let's see if Sigisma will still being able to get it
I
from now
agree.
on.
I think that some of the main concerns here is the amount of card advantage that Sigismar currently has access to, meaning that they're
Mhm.
unlikely to have a weak turn at any point here. Even if they are drawing multiple removal spells, they're not going to be like running out of gas. They have tons of things they can still play. I
Yeah.
think it's also worth noting that the expeditions, as they've come out this game, have been very good for Sigismar. Specifically, it's been a really hard time for Tasia to have these advantage situations. Like sometimes you get it when you're able to establish an early aloe vera that you have an easy water only expedition on board or
Mhm.
something you can easily block on.
Yeah.
We did see something good happen here for the Tasia, and that the Dracana is finally now on an optimal expedition where they are
Yeah.
both advancing on the mountain and blocking on the water, which is where the Sigismar would have to advance on. But overall, it's been a struggle. Like
Ooh.
sometimes you just have these situations where a frog prince coming out won't actually do anything because it just happens to be correct expeditions. But there was none of that this game thus far until specifically this water expedition gets revealed to the Dracana.
Yeah.
That's the one redeeming part of it so far. But yeah, Orda Spy going after this aloe vera here, that's going to take down some potential card advantage, and Tasia is definitely struggling on that at the moment. But I would also say that's a really strong Capella unique that is coming out. It's not one of these mass anchor uniques, but it is a mass boost, so that is really cool.
It's really cool, and also like those unique would be like maybe a small game changer if like the Elora would be like still in touch. It's because of the effect. If you control two or more plans other than me, up to two characters each gain one boost, but with the Trakina will be played off from the hand. Now this would be the case, so being able to block now on the hero side and being able to progressing on the companion side. So let's see if Sigisma still could like having like some one cost like an front room mechanic or also like an auto struber to actually being able to at least progressing through the hero side. But then there it is, it's like for now it's like a really cool case like in general for Sigma because being able to keep like more of those handcuffs or like resource pricey to being
Mhm.
up, but with starting to actually also like to spam like the locust characters just like to make sure that you like progressing could be also like a completely game changer for then on, because this is also like sometimes something that you want to do like for the sickest ball that you need to play out too much to blocking or even progressing. And as we can see, Sabai decided to just like stay with those hands, didn't like play anything out, so being able to blocked on the hero side, but now Tisha Ross being able to progressing through the companion side, and both of them are like two expeditions, like a way to actually close the game. So let's see how the game will continue.
I think it's interesting here from Izzy Lopez the choice to play this Capellia out onto that hero expedition here when it goes to reserve. This unique being one when it goes to the expedition zone. I'm sorry, when it goes to reserve from the expedition zone, you get to play it out for free with Asleep. I think it's just interesting to note based on the expeditions they're currently on. So the way that that ends up working rules wise is that Capellia will stay asleep for this entire turn. But then, notably, the expeditions it'll be on, assuming they are going to advance this turn on that hero side, thanks to the Dracana that's currently in play, would still end up a little bit interesting potentially, where it might not be quite optimal for advancing or even blocking, depending on whether Sigismar is also able to find an advance or not. But yeah, I think that's definitely a really interesting decision line that comes in here. It's just going to be harder for a Capellia to advance on the forest stat here, given that it's a little bit lower on that one naturally. But overall, I think it's a pretty good situation for this turn specifically for Tasia, despite having to make their decisions first. Virtually everything they're playing out here from reserve is incredibly strong,
Yeah.
overstated both thanks to the Tasia ability, that Capellia that is chilling in play at the moment, and the threat of the Ogun also coming out from reserve. And that's not to mention the one card that's left in their hand. But again, Sigismar should still be pretty flush with options here. I would be surprised if they're not taking at least one expedition this turn, but I
Yeah.
think there's also opportunity to remove something, and I think that's going to be pretty important here.
Yes.
Even through that spindle, they should likely be able to pay for a tough two, and I think they're maybe going to have to really shore up the chances for their last and second to last turns of the game.
Yes, it's true. And now Sigismund being able to getting the turn, and as you said, like that maybe like the hero expedition like with the Coppelia for next time, but there's still like just like an Okon sitting around in the reserve being able to actually boosting out again those both small little dragons, and it would be like harder and harder for now on actually to either like progressing, I would say, like for our Sigismund, or being able to block it, because getting out like out of the water region, you need like still specific cars for Sigisma. And if you have something to sit like on the companion side, like a Trakina with already like 4 boosts, being able to get additional, but then you don't need the Oko because there would be Aloe Vera, the most common iron win on water regions cards that like ever existed, like for Muna and also like for the out of faction version of Euro. And I would say if they're not like any remove, it's like a teamwork training, then I would say it's like a
Yeah.
pretty hard state of the game for our Sigisma, because it's getting more and more just like favorite for
Yes,
our teacher.
Sabai here
Mhm.
was definitely telegraphing a teamwork
Yeah,
training play with
yeah.
that Ordis Cadets lead out specifically.
Mhm.
And the reason why you know this as well is because he had 2 cards in reserve. One of them is 2/2/2 stat line,
Yeah.
and the other one is functionally a 2/2/1 stat line,
Mm.
choosing to play it onto the water expedition as well. The only thing that I could think would make that make sense is either a unique that cares about number of characters in play,
Yeah,
potentially something with
maybe.
the charge effect, or otherwise teamwork training, caring about the number of characters. I think that definitely makes sense given that he's likely to need to remove something with anchored this turn. And if that Ogun had been played instead of this Aloe Vera here onto the companion side, it would have at least blocked then on that side. If they were able to remove the Dracana. But this
Yeah,
Aloe Vera is sort of the perfect counter against that. It's optimal
sure.
expeditions
Yes,
based on the
true.
stat line it has, and that Dracana is likely to just be sticking around here if that is the plan, and it would advance on top of it. So currently, I think, honestly,
Yeah.
excellent situation from Tasia, purely off the back of the Spindle Muna Bastion here as well. I think there have been so many removal opportunities virtually this entire game for Sigismar that have been completely ruined by that early turn 1 double advance concession that the Tasia made.
This is true. And so now it will be the turn for the Sigisma, and as we can see now, Tisha runs out of mana, so not being able to actually play out anything, but on those cases will be not. So I'm also like was thinking about either like a teamwork training or maybe like a unique. So let's see what's about will be playing out. I would need to check if I maybe have like the deck list so we can see which uniques he's running, or do you know it like
I do not have it right now.
okay, so I will take, and there it is, the team upgrade training will be played out. So let's see which character will go back to the reserve.
Personally, I like the
Mhm.
line of hitting the hero side Dracana here.
Yeah,
The reason why I say this is that because of the expedition that the Capellia is sitting on, it's going to have the hardest time advancing there for the next turn. If they were both on that forest stat, and it would guarantee them an advance this turn at least. That seeming important to me purely because it does give you the option to try to go 1-for-1 there against the next turn's double anchored Dracana and Aloe Vera on the other side.
yes.
In this case, it does seem like Sabai is going for that Capellia unique instead. They're just worried about the additional boosts that could come out. But I'm just curious as to why they're choosing that instead of just getting the guaranteed progression. I'm always really scared of being in the spot that Sigismar is now currently
Yeah.
in, where the opponent could just advance on either side in order to win. I don't know
Mhm.
if there's any tricks up Sabai's sleeve, but I feel so uncomfortable being unable to concede one side at least here. Ooh.
Yeah. And I would also say like, so I took a look on the uniques, and there's like a front row mechanic somewhere in the deck, or maybe in the hand. I would not say in the mana. That's just like creating an oldest recruit if you're playing out a non-token character, and they're actually like 2 Osmas being able to getting a draw. And as we can see, Tisha actually getting the game. So GG to S. Lopez for winning out the second round.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's Lopez winning that grudge match against the
Yeah.
KGB Invitational champion there. So
Mhm.
impressive, good result from them. This Tasia deck, super solid, and yeah, it's Really nice to note that that Spindle Muna Bastion still does work even into the Sigismar matchup.
Yeah.
I think especially with Sigismar having a bunch of new removal tools, that's a really nice thing to have in a lot of these cases.
Yes, it's amazing. And what's also amazing is that we still have enough tables that like running. So I would take a look, and I was like searching for it. And yeah, there was like a question from Simon, and he's asking, Keelan, how many teams do you have on your team info sheet?
The answer to that question is fully filled out. There are currently 7 teams that are on that info sheet. The
Mhm.
one that isn't fully filled out yet is Team DSL, who today I've gotten a presentation document from. So that'll be updated. Oops, sorry, very soon with some information about them. Sorry, I'm Swiss. I'm dropping coins everywhere.
Dropping coins. Yeah, guys, people from Switzerland, which coins everywhere. Nah, just kidding. Are you there? Are you there, or just collecting your like?
I'm collecting my coins. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, collecting them. I just
I'm
want
good,
to
I'm
say
good.
that I want to join table 17 because there is actually Rune playing hostage Akisha.
Oh no.
No? Yeah, I want to take a look at that.
Oh
So
god.
and let's go to the game and okay.
Why
Okay,
would
guys.
anyone want to look at this? That is the question.
Yeah, because it's funny.
That is
Right, that's
true.
on. Okay, guys, so we need to make sure that you actually can see like the complete hand, right? Hold on a second. I will do a little bit some stuff like that. So yeah. So what can I maybe how can we like you explain what's going on? So like this Sigisma is completely cooked.
Yeah,
There's like
so
no
the
any chance at all.
Sigismar got deceptively close to winning this game,
Yeah.
but at this point, depending on Runefolk's list,
Yeah.
they would be able to either set the Sigismar back entirely to 0 expedition progressions over the next few turns, or otherwise just completely lock them out of the game. They don't necessarily need to set them back here. They're not going to be losing another expedition at any point here. The one potential worry is getting sabotaged in a weird situation. But with only 1 card left in Rune's deck, I don't think that they're going to actually run into that situation ever. While having 2 Catagears in play, this is sort of an impossible spot here.
Yes.
Yeah, brutal.
Mm.
For those of you who haven't seen this deck run, at this point as well, Rune is threatening to advance off of just playing Small Step Giant Leap like 4, 5, 6 times in 1 turn, even.
Yeah.
In this case, he won't even need that.
Oh boy.
But yeah, this one is brutal.
It's getting harder and harder and harder, and those are like some decks that I always like to share like every stream because there's like not that much like that case that you actually see those that were played against you. And I just want to say, guys, do you realize what actually Rune is playing for fun? This is like his fun deck, yeah?
Yeah.
So he's playing this for fun. It's not about winning. It's like about making a statement or stuff
Sending a
like that.
message, yeah.
It's just like sending a message or stuff like that. So completely brutal, and it's funny how this is working. So I would say if there's like no misplay at all from Rune, then actually the game is it's like actually GG. If like Rune is not running out of time or something, because they're like the Grant and the War, as you mentioned, Blue, that's correct. But still, with the Grant and the War, there would be at least 1 spell to actually get rid of the Grant on the War. And because of this Category Isper you only need like to pay like 2 mana out for actually removing it. But let's see what would be the case.
That's
I'm
also
interested in.
assuming that the Sigismar is running Grand Endeavor, and I can confirm they are absolutely not.
Yeah.
Many lists at this point choosing to forgo permanence entirely, but for the most part, the permanent of choice recently, at least, has been the Monolith Ortis Bastion, less so the Grand Endeavor. I realize the player that we just saw in the previous game, Sabai, has a different take there. He's still on Grand Endeavor. However, otherwise, yeah, many Sigismars at least choosing to swap it up here. In this case, this one, our current Sigismar player, Nakaza, is on 0 permanence. This is a aggressive character-based build, and yeah, unfortunately, that does give them 0 outs here.
Yeah, that's true. So Let's see. So yeah, I mean, guys, of course we could also like change to another table and watch some other games because we will like not see like more. So
This one's just a foregone conclusion, so I think we should indeed do that. Tab
yeah,
into another.
yeah, we can go. We can go. So I would say like have fun rune, and Nakasa just hit the FF button. Like just hit the FF button.
Let's go
Or
into table 29.
29. Yeah, we can go to that. Oh, right, hold on. I'm not being in.
Ah, cool. Yes, this is good.
Yes, right. 29. 29.
Yes.
I'm correct.
Yosef against Cloud Jubei.
Okay, let's go.
So on one side, we have a Basira player who's currently adjacent on Expeditions, Double Haven in play. They're playing against Afanas, who is a couple expeditions. They need 3 progressions in order to win for the Afanas. So currently, definitely favoring the Basira. Also, in terms of card advantage, things looking pretty good for Basira at the moment. There is a cool, unique Tooth Fairy in play. Playing it from reserve, as the Afanas did, means that the next card they play this afternoon costs 1 less. So here, I'm hoping for the Afanas at least that they might have a 1 mana spell here to follow it up with. That sort of thing might help a lot. But as it stands, they're getting beaten
Yeah.
out pretty hard just by this Chiron on its own. And yeah, with the 3 cards left in hand for Basira, I'm pretty satisfied by this spot for them.
And that's true. And here we see the Mage Dancer will be played out. And I would say, like, for now, if there's like not any removal, like, and off you go, then I would like say it's like the game, right? If there's like no removal
Yeah,
at all,
yeah,
because like even
it
with helping hand, no, it's like
better than
hmm.
Off You Go would be Beauty Sleep in the spot,
Oh,
being able to replay it. Even better than that would be Magical Training into Beauty Sleep.
yeah, or Beauty Sleep. Hmm.
I say Magical Training into Beauty Sleep, just being able to put one
Yeah, yeah,
additional
yeah,
boost
yeah,
this turn
yeah.
might be really critical because they
And it's the
are only
helping
going to be able
hand.
to remove 2 things if they had the removal spell, and they might need to be able to remove
Mm.
3 or be able to outstat at least 1. Helping Hand going to do a really good job on stats here, but notably as well, the Basira is on excellent expedition for that Haven
Yes.
Sarengar that is on the companion side, definitely giving them a chance to find a progression. If they have another 2 mana character, for example, like another Haven Sarengar, would be amazing here.
Would be actually amazing here, but oh boy, it seems really hard. But I think like the only chance is like getting with the magical training like another helping hand or beauty sleep for 1 cost, dropping out, and maybe having that like as a game changer at some point or something. I don't know. Maybe this will help out.
It's definitely possible. We've seen 1 Beauty Sleep use this game already, so there's a
Yeah.
max 2 more in deck. A lot of players even trimming that down to just 2 copies in their Afanas lists at
Yeah.
this point. So it could be 2 left, could be 1 left.
Hmm.
Helping Hand here from reserve, representing 2 boosts instead of just 1, thanks to that Basira and Kazaimon hero ability. So they will be able to spread a second boost around where they want
Yeah.
it this turn. It's not just the 1 boost that it seems like it would be from that Helping Hand.
Hmm.
1 boost on its own might be enough this turn, as long as that card remaining in the Afanas' hand is not a relevant card,
Yeah.
which in most cases it won't be. However, even then, good chances for Basira here, thanks to that hero ability.
It's true. So we will see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. This is not looking good.
Definitely not.
Hmm. I mean, there's like, would be like, no, it would be like a beauty sleep will tap out. Yeah, the beauty sleep will like tap out for this case. But as we see, there is not like that enhanced. So GG to see yourself
Yeah,
for taking
Basira
out the
taking it
steal.
over the Afanis there.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that's always nice to see. There's actually okay. There are like 2 tables left. It's like either table 47 or table 4 that's still playing.
Your
So
pick. I'm gonna quickly toss some food into the oven, and I'll be back.
okay. So yeah, guys, let's go to table 4. Will be Ubrik against Dekos. Oh, nice picture from that set. And of course, is an 2. Oh, oh my goodness, guys. If there's like a Ben Basir. If there's like a matchup that I don't like to watch, it's like an Afanis Bureau matchup. I'm like not joking. But anyway, the game will be fast finished enough, soon enough. And oh wait. Something is worth my mice. So I also like need to be like shortly being there. And here we go. There is like our kitten is like being outside taking some interviews with players, reviewers, and is coming back. And
I am back.
yeah, so you know, I'm on table 4. It's like an Afanis mirror matchup, and
Ooh.
I need to plug in my mice because it's almost empty. So now you can take over. For a couple of
Okie dokie.
yeah.
We're seeing a pretty cool Spindle Harvester unique out. This isn't one of this absolute highest tier of Spindle Harvesters based on the fact that the restriction that it has is a 2 boost at dusk Spindle. With a when played from reserve, it gets anchored, but this is a insanely good one regardless. Being able to, for just 1 mana, deploy a Spindle Harvester unique that pairs really well with just general spells, returns, has 2 stat points on Forest to boot. Definitely a really solid one. Interestingly, though, there's some really cool cards being played by the top of Afanis. Ibak here playing out this Nyala Gifted Conjurer from reserve onto that hero side, now threatening to advance on both expeditions, thanks to the fact that it has when played from anywhere, if your hero expedition is behind, you may send to reserve a character with hand cost 3 or less. So pairing super well there with, or just going super well against that Spindle Harvesters, it removes it. But unfortunately, it comes back, and a Beauty Sleep will seal the deal here for bottom Afanis with a sweet Spindle unique. Cool effort there from the top of Afanis. Some pretty sweet cards, actually, with that spell exchange that is typical of Nyala and good stats, as well as a removal option, but just not good enough here. And yeah, with that, we're into round 3. Pretty exciting. So far, I'm seeing tons of players from Team Altered Aces specifically are crushing it this event so far. We have Wesh, we have Popeye, Tatu, Tachyfire, Karnag, Romeo, Neuro, and Cladius all sitting at 2 wins so far. I wonder if there's going to be any mirror matches and mirrors in terms of teammates in this round from them. But just skimming through, it looks like so far, no, they're on par to just keep going 3-0 with all those players if they're able to win their rounds. But if we do have the chance, I don't know if Pandy's
guys,
back yet, but
don't be mad.
if we
I'm
can
back.
jump
I need to go to
into
the toilet.
table
I'm back.
16, that would be really cool.
I'm back.
Pandy, let's go table 16.
Table 16. Oh, okay. But at least I didn't miss something. Oh, it's Zero. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's Neuro playing against
Switzerland.
Kiel. I'm not sure if that's Keeline or Keeline from Team DSL.
Oh,
That's the team that I mentioned earlier that the document is not fully updated on. However, they're Les Désaltérés from France, specifically from the city of Lille in France, near Belgium.
Yeah.
And originally, it was a team who was founded as a group of friends from the same local game store. And
Yeah.
since then, they've been growing and now have around 20 competitive players. So they're doing pretty well. And from what I've heard, this Kyoin, who's currently playing Afanas, is their Afanas
Yes.
specialist and occasionally plays Tasia Festival as well. So maybe they're going to be familiar with what Neuro is trying to do out in the Tasia.
Okay, so I'm interested now. So, it's this really see that like a Sneezer's room will be played out from the Afanas. Nice cut to have like in general, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. But there it is. The bounty format will be activated. So we will see the dot of AQZ will be played out, being able to not only blocking the companion side, but also like progressing forward. And is there like I'm not like 100% sure about those matchup between Afanas and Tisha, but as I would guess now, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, would it be like more favorable for like actually Afanas to play against a Tisha, or is like otherwise?
Yes.
Yes.
No, you are correct. Especially back though in Beyond the Gates, that was definitely the case. I do think things have shifted a little bit. I think cards like Floral tend to actually give a lot of good options that weren't really there before for Tasia, or at least a few ways to insulate themselves a little bit more from all of the removal options that Afanas has outside of just Spindle Muna Bastion, as well as getting a bit more value, which can be really nice. In this
Mm.
case, though, Neuro is on a very different build of Tasia,
Mm.
looking at some pretty expensive cards like Demeter, but this one
Oh.
just gets eaten right off the bat by a Banishing Gate. It's definitely a good trade for Afanas, but I would also say, notably, it ends up being essentially even that turn, with the assumption that a Sneezer Shroom was likely to advance on this turn anyway, having stuck around from the previous turn. Overall, costing each player one card, but I can't help but feel like there's going to be more big cards from Neuro coming out with this ramp strategy in comparison to the number of banishing gates that Afanas has in their deck. So I
Yeah.
think the pressure is on a little bit for Afanas to find ways to get even more of a quick advantage here
Yes.
before the Tasia can play out something like a Hydrocana, for example.
Hmm. Oh, okay. So thank you so much for the answer, and thank you so much for myself that I guess right. No, but anyway, so let's go directly back. So now it will be the starting turn for the Afanas, and as we can see, the Sneezer Shroom will be played out to the companion side, and there it is. The battle formatter will be played out again, and here we will see the Hydrakina. So is there another banishing gate?
Well, even if there was
Hmm.
another Banishing Gate, it would not
Hmm.
work this turn because the Hydrocana
Oh,
currently has Tough
yes.
1 for
The
being the
tough
rare
one. I
version.
always forgetting it.
Um, in general, though, you're very rarely seeing more than 2 copies of Banishing Gate in
Yeah.
general from Afanas. And at this point, I think it's much more likely the removal that would be going after a Hydrocana at this point would
Mhm.
be temporary removal in the form of Beauty Sleep.
Oh,
That would be the
okay.
card that plays well here against it. Notably, though, Afanas can just still race on that companion expedition for the moment.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good strategy in general. It's very likely that Tasia will at some point be able to overstat on that expedition, but also because of Small Step Giant Leap, they can likely just afford to ignore that Hydrocana for as long as possible. Also, notably, there's no copies of Spindle Muna Bastion out or
Yeah.
anything, so in general, removing things that do enter that companion side is going to
Mm.
be a lot easier than dealing with that Hydrocana.
And Simon actually saying in chat that I actually think that Big Teacher is pretty well positioned right now. And I was also like thinking of that case for sure because okay, that's amazing. As you can see for now. So what are your thoughts? Would you say like there's like it's like a good position now for the Teacher?
Yeah, I've seen this list actually going around with exactly this card that we just saw, the Leshy, coming out
Yeah.
in addition to the common Demeter and rare Hydrocana. I do think it's a pretty reasonable build. I'm not a Tasia expert myself. I'm personally have been partial to the more like the aggressive Spindle Harvesters build at rare version of Tasia that we have been a little bit more familiar with, I would say.
Yeah.
but definitely a lot of nice new tools for the ramp style of Teja. My understanding is that this version is probably reliant on unique Lokis. I should
Yeah.
check the deck lists, honestly. We do have that ability. But I do believe that like 6 mana Loki effects can be the difference with this sort of strategy, especially when someone is likely to just build up a card advantage the way that the Siphonis is currently doing. That could be particularly important, being having access to cards like Loki.
Mm, okay.
And yes, I'm seeing now there are 3 copies of unique Loki in Nero's deck list.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's crazy. But it's also crazy. So Athena's being able to actually progressing through the companion side, getting closer and closer, and maybe that's like the I I would not say like the only way of like actually getting those game if like the Hydrokina beside effect will
Mhm.
not get removed that fast. It's just like hoping to progressing through the companion side or just getting a beauty sleep for at least one turn,
Yeah.
and then just like finishing out with a small step giant leap because otherwise it's
Mhm.
like actually as like we like mentioned before, it's like a really good space for teacher because if there's something as the second part would become big out or actually like the Loki would be played out right now, this would be like an amazing spot for teacher. If the Loki would be played
Realistically,
out. Yeah?
I think what Tasia needed the last turn was a second Hydrocana to come out on that
Yeah,
companion side.
yeah.
Concede that expedition for 1 turn and then say, I'm not planning on losing any further expeditions this game. I think that was likely, the optimal strategy. Of course, you don't get full flexibility and altered to choose what every single one of your plays is. So, not surprising that they
Oh,
don't have it. I think that's just what they were looking for. In this case, Spycraft going after that Leshy in reserve, pretty funny. Words I did not expect to be saying, really. Spycraft going after Leshy, pretty cool.
yes.
But now we're seeing a Mighty Simbi come out. It's good expeditions as well to play that out on for the Tasia. So pretty solid play, but that Sneezer Shroom is currently massive, sitting at 555.
Yes, that's true, and still got like 6 mana up, so would be also like being able to play out the second Caesar Shroom, being able to maybe getting like the having out to boost out from now what we can see, but there's actually a Lady of the Lake as unique that will be played out. And at dusk, if I have one or more boosts, you may return a card either me from your reserve to your hand. And it's like one of the funny things that I would like say see in general in FNS besides like those amazing Spindle Harvester uniques that we always play around. There are, like, more and more cards that just, like, doing the similar effect, right?
Yep.
But not being the Spindle Harvester, is it, like, more like a reason of, like, it's, like, cheaper to actually get those cards, or is it, like, that those cards, because they don't getting, like, anchored, as a effect, have, like, better stats, and you could, like, getting some good stuff out of it because of the good stats? So is there a reason besides
There's
maybe
a
the
mi-
fact that
yeah,
it's
you're
cheaper?
you're right. There's a mixture of the two. There's certain
Mhm.
cards, for example, like Muna Caregiver uniques that can be really interesting sometimes in that they often have that classic spell return effect.
Yeah,
And by often, I mean I still mean incredibly rarely, of course, but as uniques go, right? They do sometimes have that, but they often come with additional effects, and most notably like the support ability, for example, that Immune Caregiver has of giving another
yeah,
character anchored can be really useful. And there's other certain build arounds that do pair well with other decent options.
yeah,
Notably, things like meditation training, for example, giving something anchored in some cases can definitely be some good value. But in general, I do think the consensus is pretty clear. Being able to have anchored when played from anywhere, especially the spindle harvesters that are able to do that and have a dusk
yeah.
return at the moment at least, are currently sort of optimal. I do think that in some cases that the leaves the expedition zone
Ooh.
uniques, like the Ortis Trooper of the Athanases here, have been truly excellent as well. They do play better into removal in many cases, but currently flavor of the month I would definitely say is these at dusks.
And I just want to say that, like, with the removal of like the Jack Frost from the expedition to the reserve, Athenas again will be actually being able to progressing through the companion side. And if there is at least like one small step giant leap, I have a Dusk Return caregiver. Oh, that's amazing, Simon. And yeah, Cole, I will try to not hovering all the time the cards. It's because I'm playing with my mice around like the the screen, and then maybe it's like it is. So if you're saying this is like slow enough, just tell me that. Just kidding. But now it's like one small step giant leap. array. It doesn't even need a boost. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. So maybe you want to share it like at some point like on the Discord if you already didn't, so we can see the card. I would like be interested in. And it's just say it does return spell from Wreath of Trent. Oh, okay, that's amazing. What's also amazing is like that actually now maybe it's amazing for the FNers. It's always also amazing for me because then there's a higher chance that maybe Spotted Giant Leap get completely banned for Izmir. But let's see if this will be the case for the next patch, because it's actually like one small step Giant Leap away from getting the game. Besides the fact that it's also like looking general, like in general, really good for our FNers to being able to closing out maybe again on the companion side. So let's see what this would be the case.
I mean, notably, this Hydrocana has been very good for the Tasia this game. It's completely locked up one expedition, and it doesn't seem to be stopping to do so at any point here. Just the timing that it came out on, though, was just not enough to generate enough of an advantage because of how well the Aphanis was able to deal with virtually every other threat that was played. Baku coming out here, somewhat of an unconventional choice still in many Aphanis lists, but really strong in these low resource situations towards the end of the game like this. And this one does look like it's going to be going the way of the Aphanis player here. Off you
Yeah.
go, heading off of getting rid of a Jack
Ooh,
Frost, and that will lock it up.
don't even need those walls of Giant Leap. I know, Kirin, that you are watching. You are watching the stream. You didn't play the small step out, yeah. I know it, so that you can keep it on the faction, yeah. Do you? No, just kidding. So GG actually to Kieran to being able winning this game. And Cole, maybe you can give me like a tutorial, because it's like the most common thing that I'm doing when I like just sitting and like, for example, casting. I'm just like spinning with my mice. Maybe I should get something else like from my hand. So I'm not doing this like all the time. So I would say they're like chatting, doing like a small. Yeah, it's okay. So
Yeah,
like,
Neuro was asking if there was a one-cost spell in the hand of the Aphanis there, and
yeah.
so that he could have chosen potentially a different line that turn. But yeah, the Aphanis player saying, "Yep, I had it in any case," and Neuro realizing, "Cool, there was nothing he could have done to change the outcome there." Baku,
Ooh.
too good. Yeah, taking that one down.
And you know what?
What?
I have a table,
Oh, what
and
is your table?
I would
If you
just
say
like
Runefolk, I'm gonna lose my mind.
yeah, it would be table Runefolk. No,
No,
it's
no,
table
no.
3. No, no. No, it's actually table 3, and
Oh
there's a
yes.
reason why I actually want to
Oh,
show
this is
you
so exciting.
table
Yes,
3.
let's do it.
Because there is if like at some point Tom will decide to actually post us on 39cards.com, then Soa 55 that we will be watching right now will be actually the first Lindy for set. It's a mirror matchup. It's even better. So actually, Sora was being able to getting undefeated on our championship series, on our own tournament series, and won with Lindy.
Yeah, currently
It's
crazy
yeah,
saying going to our undefeated
yeah.
tables where we're seeing a Lindaway mirror match with one of these Lindaway players coming off of the best finish that the hero has ever had in any online tournament. That's really cool. So yeah, interested to see here whether both are on similar builds or slightly different. Interestingly, I definitely see that both players are playing a lot of the same cards. There are mobile armories, there are moth lanterns at rare, lots of those sort of things going around for both players. I do see, however, there has been a Blizzard either played or discarded this game from our bottom Lindaway, Wesh
Yeah.
from Team AA, but no Blizzard at least from our top Lindaway. So yeah, wonder whether it's a decklist difference or whether that is simply just what we've seen so far this game.
It's true. And what is like really funny for me seeing Sora playing again, but also like Rishi like playing also Lindy is like I remember like the after talk that we had like after our tournament, and where we were like thinking about on how Lindy actually be able to like win the game, because like for me on like that we realized we're like that the list didn't look like that crazy complete different than like most usual Lindy decks that you
Hmm.
could like take a look before. And that's like maybe like one of the reasons, like where I would like say, for example, Gamanike with his Nevenka, that Zora
Mhm.
is like actually a player that knows how his deck is running against certain matchups. So,
No, you're right.
so it was amazing
Lindaway,
to see.
in a lot of situations, especially without access to
Yeah,
Moonlight Jellyfish, has been relegated to a control gameplay style in so many
yeah,
cases. And playing the card Chrysalis along with Baba's Isba, you might think that this is very much the same thing. But
yes.
turns out the addition of both Moth Lantern and Mobile Armory at rare really changes up a lot of the dynamics. And
Yeah, that's
as far as
true.
I'm concerned, I think really this is a deck that's about the trio of Moth Lantern, Mobile Armory, and Chrysalis in so many cases. The rest is often just sacrifice build around, but between these cards, I think you just get so much flexibility in how you're going to play a game. You are able to play slower and play a bit more tempo oriented
And
based on Chrysalis and blocking.
oh,
However, in a lot of cases, you're also able to just push for advantage, which is really nice.
yes, and here we go. It will be Anubis playing out, and it's also like the crazy thing. It's like, so maybe you were like thinking of, okay, he's got like the best uniques that you could ever imagine for Lindy, and that's why the deck class is running. But it's
Nope.
actually just like not normal common uniques, but it's like just like normal uniques, like not crazy. It's like an Anubis. Each player sacrifice a character, and when I leave the exposition zone, draw a card or stuff like that, or like some other classes that are just like not the most expensive forms, like just like common around uniques that you
Yeah.
can draw out like from a display or like a booster, and then you putting it in. But as you can
And
see now, Sora is
notably, yeah, this one is going in the favor of Wesh,
yeah.
who has both players have said GG here. Notably, Zoa was mentioning that they were really stupid to have forgotten about Blizzard specifically this game. Both players playing it as a one of in their deck. From what it sounds like, at least, Zoa thinks that they might have been able to play around it had it been on their radar whatsoever, but they
Yeah.
simply forgot to play around it, and I think it looked like it was probably pretty punishing this game.
Yeah, so crazy. So, Wish, if you're watching the stream, we like to see Lindy getting undefeated in tournaments.
Yes.
So, join in on Thursday. Come and play. I mean, you can do if you want to. And still, like, over 100 people still playing. So, if you're not having like a table in mind that we could like join in, or that you took already like a look, I would be interested in table 90 because there's like a team tag head. I don't know if you know the team. Head Axiamo is playing there.
Table. I'm sorry. Which table did you
Table
say?
19. Table 19.
19. Got it. Yep. One
Yes,
second.
there's like against Sabai, so maybe you can switch, but maybe you know the team and then we can
I
talk
am
a
not
little bit.
familiar with Team Hat.
Okay.
There are, believe it or not, still teams that I have not discovered yet in some
I
cases.
don't believe you.
Uh,
You know
Believe
them.
it or not, there are a lot of team tags that do fly around that only have
Yeah?
simply one or two players with them. In those
Oh,
cases, for the most part, I haven't done the deep dive into them. But if they're showing results, if Axiamo here keeps crushing it, I'm happy to reach out and ask for some details.
okay, that's that's amazing. Maybe we should do like a partnership with those teams so we have like the biggest partnership. Writing down. No, but like if you want, we can go to table 10 because there's Loki Cial against Karok from Team Ordered Aces. So they're like completely two new players. Like for the cast today to watch them. Does Killen guy know Team MA? Do you know Team MA?
Yeah, that's Magro Boy's team. Absolutely.
Macro
I'm familiar with them, but I believe they're exactly 3 members, and I believe only Magro Boy thus far has had results. So waiting until they're a little bit more established, but then
Yeah.
but I'm absolutely familiar. Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing to see. Yeah, you know, guys, it's like crazy because beside the fact that Killen also just like collecting all those teams, actually he also wrote like somehow like a story of our team, and I read it like yesterday and was like, is there like a chance that we like publishing this and stuff like that.
If you
I don't
want
know.
to, sure.
Yeah, because it's like actually really funny, and I was like, I want to continue reading it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
telling Runefolk the other day. He said he also had just read it for the first time. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to write chapter 3. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to write a book about AQZ. It's like that. I'm sorry. You should start, or you should start putting less work on chapter 3, and then we don't want to continue to.
So I'm confused. Did you bait me into spectating this game with Axiamo from Team Hat versus Sabai, and then switch tables that you wanted to watch over
Yeah,
to
I did it.
Karnag?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it.
In that case, you feel free to commentate that. I'm getting my food out of the oven now. I'll be
All
right
right,
back.
I see how it goes. Yeah, I baited them, guys. I told it I joining the table. Yeah. I see. But no, jokes besides. So I hope that Eden will get his food well deserved out of the oven and not like too overcooked or stuff like that. And as we can see now, that actually Sigismund would be able to actually getting this game, but it's still like the chance, or like really small chance, that actually Logia could like at some point maybe getting it at some point, but it seems it will be not. So GG to Kanok, another FNS that getting defeated. So we can jump directly back to the next game if there's still some games in progress. And if Killen is already like on level 19, then he can continue to be there, because I will go to another table and we will not tell him. Just kidding. I don't know if like Killen has like Bluetooth headphones and we're hearing me pretty good. Let's see if this will be the point. So anyway, I want like to go to matches like from players that we didn't start before. So I would say like maybe table 20, because both of them, like, I'm not familiar with this game. It's like Alamos against Girum, and hopefully the game is not finished. And it's again a Kojo against a Lindy, another Lindy player. That's amazing. So is there like a secret Lindy cooking like restaurant where like people cooking with the deck list and now they're showing off? It's like, if it's this case, is there also like a small group that wants to make a Gurun run perfectly? Because if yes, you need to give me your deck list, because I want to run Gurun to 100% for sure. So as you can see now from the state of the game, that Kojo being in a good spot, getting both 2 like out of 3 uniques out in his reserve, and it's like the, if you control 2 or more boost character sabotage, or like maybe like the more cooler effect for the auto spy, it's actually an amazing auto spy with draw card and the 2 more goes, and when another character turns to expedition, up to 2 characters each gains 1 boost. So this is like a great combination. It's actually running through the reserves, so could maybe be able to actually sabotage would be, but this is like the Morph Lantern, so I don't know if there would be like the chance. Also, just like to mentioning that Lindy actually being able to using the Baba Ispa, where you sacrifice a character and using after you tries, but as it seems for now, I'm like it's like surely that like Kojo just like putting everything like on the companion side. A new tactic to a Kisha combo. Chocobar still in game. Oh, nice. So maybe if you think like it's a new tactic and it's like interesting to take a look over that, we can just like join the next table to see like a complete game. So can you share us a little bit about the deck? What is like new about the
We're
deck, if you want to share?
definitely also seeing a battle of the permanents here, notably, especially at 2
Mhm.
mana in this Kojo versus Lindaway. The Havens facing off against the Baba's Isbas, and I can't
Yeah.
help but feel like the Isbas should be pretty good here. I don't think the
Yeah.
Lindaway will have to make any other decisions before they see everything from Kojo here, and that might
Yes.
give them a pretty good leg
Ooh,
up.
gift to
I just
Seth.
the question here really being, can they generate enough stats to deal with all of the crazy stuff that's coming out from Kojo?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And the bigger question is, how do you know which table I joined? How?
I wonder.
Yeah, I also wonder. Is it like you can hear me?
There's no chance, never.
Never? Okay, then it was luck. Okay, guys. So
Yes, absolutely.
so now I just want to say that like Alamos were taking out this game, so GG. And with that, we will go back to the main page, and I would say maybe round 4. No, there's still like some games going up, and it's like we can take a look on table 70 now, because it's almost being an end, and I guess it's like an overtime. Yeah, it's a
Nice.
overtime. So now we can see head in action. So Axiamo coming from Spain, so maybe it's like a Spanish team.
Definitely possible.
Maybe
And yeah, this game's
possible.
been going pretty all right for them since you abandoned it. Interestingly, in this tiebreaker scenario here, it could be that the Spindle Moon Bastion that's in play could do a lot of work. But seeing the cards that are coming out, it just looks like the Sigismar is going to have so many stats this turn, especially if it's not particularly much removal, but characters in hand here for Siggy. I don't know how they can lose.
Yes, I'm also curious about just like the passing, and here we go with the. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sabai
Yes,
just plays out a handful of characters, and it is enough to take that one in overtime.
and maybe it's also like the take one to go to round 4, but no,
Nope.
there are like 3 tables. I just wanted to say one table, but there are like 3 tables that want to make sure that the round 3 is taking long enough. Actually, it was funny because there was like a local player that also like played on the tournament, and he was like on the AQZ. He was like the last table that played on the last round, and
Mhm.
he was like, it was like one of those games where he took like 10 minutes for like one turn like to actually pass. So we finished. And then I made like one joke, and then I was like joining into the locals. So I had him, he was like, "You were so mean to me. I was on toilet," or stuff like that. I don't remember this. I don't remember the line. I was like, "Why?" "Yeah, because you're flaming me that I'm not finishing the game." It's like, "Yeah, we needed to wait for you." And then we had like a nice interaction. He actually recently started to play and already like so deep into it. And I like it. It was like such amazing. He's like the Gulrang player that I mentioned that's like playing Acro Gulrang, and it's like an interesting list. And I'm so happy to see at some point if he like finishing the deck list, and then there's like the 10% that the deck still need to running good. Actually, it's amazing, and it's also amazing. So is there like a table that
Yeah, go to
you
the
want to
last
join?
table. That's Mianhe against
Last
Shokabar.
table, okay. Chocobar. Oh yeah, someone mentioned in the chat. I was telling that maybe
Yes. So currently we have a very different version of Hostage Akesha, or Combo Akesha, as someone was mentioning here.
yeah.
Notably, there are no Katagears, at least in play here for
Hmm.
Shokabar. However, I have seen a Celebration Day get played at some point, so we know that that is part of their deck. And because there are so few cards left in the reserve, I'm sorry, not even reserve, in discard at this point, whenever a card is drawn here by the Akesha, if they've played a Celebration Day, it will be another one. And so they can just keep playing it again and again from here. And I
Yeah.
don't know if this is a breakable position. I don't think it is, because every turn from this point, there will be a small step giant leap played, followed up by a Celebration Day. That'll be
Yes.
all. Both cards enter discard because they have fleeting. And then they will be shuffled back into the deck, being the only 2 cards, and then drawn both at the beginning of the
Yes.
turn. So that should be a hard lock at this point. Kind of an impressive game state that they've figured out.
Yeah, and also like interesting of how this game will end. And as we've seen here, the pro Akisha Fenman, aka Rune, that Akisha is way less consistent from what I've seen. They lost game one by not contesting any expeditions. Okay, Rune. Mr. Pro Gamer. Do we need to mod script in order it? To mod script? I don't know. It's like a magic card or something? It's the magic.
Yeah, that is a magic card.
Ooh.
Tormod's Crypt being a 0 mana artifact that you can exile someone's graveyard with in Magic. In this case, being if you're saying get rid of the cards from reserve, or like send them to
Yeah.
discard, or I don't know, exile as such not really existing in Altered as of yet, because
Yeah.
those cards that do end up in discard do end up getting reshuffled back into the deck if the deck total number of cards does get down to 0 like this. So
Mm.
not quite the same thing, at least as of yet in the game.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I've been liking all of the current interaction dynamics with Reserve. I think that Exhaust has been actually a pretty cool include because it does do something very different than Sabotage. I think in a lot of cases, we've been
Yeah.
looking at Exhaust as just worse Sabotage. But it's
Yes.
been really interesting to see how some of these decks do have this sort of aggressive card advantage playstyle where they force opposing decks to play out more cards from hand then in certain
Yeah.
situations and then discard down at the ends of turns. Cards like Jack Frost overall have been, I think, really exciting for that playstyle in general. So it's been cool seeing the new builds come out both from Ortis but also from Muna.
Hmm. It's true. And as you can see, the spectators. Oh, um, actually, guys, this was like the pre-show of our first podcast. Now we can actually see the gameplay. I hope you like
Well,
it.
well, what gameplay? As I mentioned, it's Celebration Day plus Small Step
Yeah.
Giant Leap every turn from here on out.
So
That
if we
will be
are
all.
closing our eyes now, then we can just like imagine it. No, no, I'm showing the table,
I
and
also want to
it's
note that Shokobar has
yeah,
8 minutes on clock, and their opponent has negative 8 minutes on
yeah,
clock. So the Akesha has managed to do this very quickly this game. Also
mm,
worth
yeah,
noting is Shokobar is actually part of Team DSL. That is secret
mm,
information. There's no team tag there, but they are absolutely listed on the Team DSL page.
yeah.
So they are an Izmir only player, and they like prison decks and crazy combos. So that's yeah, sounds about right from what I'm seeing here.
Yes, and yeah, guys, we can wait it now. we can we can wait until this go to the end. So we are already like in the last game of round 3, so like 3 more rounds will coming up to see who will get this tournament at the end. So but for now we just like wait out, but the maximum time already reached. So GG to Chocobar. This was like a hostage. That's funny. So let's go directly into round 4. And then Keelan, I actually need to go to toilet.
Fair enough. Well,
So I hope it's okay that I will leave, and then you can tell me which table could join, and then I
I
will
would
join in.
like table 13, please.
Originally against Loki Chair. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Game is still loading, guys. So we got some quite time for the next round. It's an amazing tournament by far. Actually, like to see that we actually got like take a look on 3 Lindies that actually playing, and sadly 2 Akisha hostage lists. But interesting. Always, I think it's like always interesting that like people like playing this out, and as you can see, how much like it did like also improve like for the Z2. I'm already like actually excited at some point to see how far this could like went on Z3 or also on Z4 on those like hostage decks. Is there like a chance that there will be like a completely deck type that's only playing around spells like now and it's working like even better? I'm interested in how this will
That's a good
take. And the
question.
game is loading, and I would say, guys, good luck. Have fun to both of them, of course, but have fun with Fan against offenders. And I'm excited to see what happened during the game. So have fun. Bye bye.
So I must admit, one of these players, not super familiar with, that being Logiciel from France, but reasonably high in ELO, currently sitting at a comfy 374. Originality, interestingly enough, on something that I haven't seen from them before, at least as far as tournaments go. I've definitely seen them as a traced player a while ago, back before that Haven Bravos Bastion suspension from Axiom, but more recently on Tasia. So interesting that they're considering bringing a Lyra hero here in Fen. Notably, Fen starting off with the sort of amazing optimal turn 1 of a 1-cost spell followed up by Ouroboros Inkcaster. Even nicer in this situation that 1-cost spell is a redraw in terms of magical training, so that's super sweet. Both players managing advance on that first day, and things looking pretty reasonable for Fen so far. Magpeng Hoarder being resupplied here at noon. That's definitely one of these new techs from the hero as well. Card from the new set. It does do a good Baby Anansi impression, it being a 2-cost 2/2/2 When played from anywhere, if you have 2 or more cards in reserve, I gain 1 boost and fleeting. So especially good when you resupply it in these certain situations. So no real cost on that here. We do see a unique Hua Mulan coming out now from our top Afanas Logiciel. It being a 2/3/4 in stats for 3 mana. At dusk, it loses fleeting, and when it leaves the expedition zone, if it has 1 or more boosts, it returns a spell from reserve to hand. So, solid spell looper, and losing fleeting at dusk, definitely the sort of thing that can be really relevant in this matchup specifically, given the prevalence of acapella training in many Fen lists here. So, that would not be able to give this Huamulan fleeting and get rid of it forever. But as it stands, trading evenly in terms of resources, and yeah, things looking pretty reasonable for both players. In general, I do like sort of the position. It was trading evenly until the discount is used from the Ouroboros Inkcaster. Off you go, shooting down Huamulan this turn at least. So it will not be an even trade. It will favor the Fen slightly, but at a cost of some additional resources. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. It's not always optimal to do that, but in certain situations, it can be really good to just get an extra expedition of buffer, especially if Fen is able to find a way to start interacting with that Huamulan potentially outside of just off you go. But yeah, we'll see here. Resupply at noon, hitting another Anansi, or another 2 mana play, at least from reserve. Really solid Anansi here. Yeah, that's definitely a good resupply. But I'm definitely interested to see as to whether there's going to be a unique or some form of card advantage engine from Fen coming out at some point soon here. Something like an aloe vera might be very important for them in order to start generating an advantage off of that expedition lead they took early. So we will see. Magical training coming out from them is sort of an after you button here, trying to get maximum information and prevent removal from going after their next play. But in this case, the Afanas heads up play, just playing a 1 mana spell out onto that Baba Yaga in the form of Helping Hand, and that does prevent something like an aloe vera from coming out without being able to get eaten by removal. So solid lines all around. Fen, luckily for them, has an Ouroboros Inkcaster follow-up, so they're perfectly fine just hanging out and dealing with things as they come. Magical training, interestingly, being played here at rare by the Afanas. Sometimes we've been seeing that shift towards the common in recent times as people are experimenting with new packages of rare slots in their Afanas decks. Especially things like Icebound Tundra, for example, which has been used by players like Dobby to Lobby, for example. They often get paired with other cards at rare, like Bravos Blade Dancer, for example, and that does end up being pretty taxing in terms of rare slots on the deck. But interestingly, this is at least appearing to be just a very consistent Afanas list, really maximizing those solid rares for Baba Yaga, for decent and reasonable turn 1 plays that do threaten to advance in a lot of cases, and magical training. Notably, magical training does do a very good Conjuring Seal impression when just trying to draw multiple cards in early turns, just for playing it out for 3 mana in some cases, doing virtually the same thing as Conjuring Seal. Very rare that Nephanis would ever play Conjuring Seal for 5 from reserve, so ends up oftentimes being exactly the same. So that can be a really nice consistency piece for the Afanas deck. But yeah, currently Fen looking to be up 2 expeditions. Definitely pretty decent spot from them. I would say here, especially if they end up having a sabotage and getting rid of this Hua Mulan unique, things would look really good for them. As it stands, none of that coming out, but I'm still liking their position. Haven Sarengar here, just an excellent thing to resupply at noon. It threatening to draw a card when it leaves Expedition Zone, also on reasonable expeditions for its own chances of advancing on its own. Yeah, definitely the sort of thing they're looking to find here. Then, in many cases, also threatening to be a small step giant leap deck. Oftentimes, the number that people have settled on for how many of those to play in the deck is just 1 in comparison to the 2 or 3 from Afanas that we often see. So, Definitely saying that it's a lot less likely that if they do get to that critical moment that they will guaranteed have the small step. Definitely some chances with Fen as well, just putting it into
Yeah.
mana early on. But in this case, yeah, at least it's a deck that definitely has access to that card
Woo.
in many cases. So we will see if they're able to edge closer. We might have to start worrying about that if we're the Aphanis player.
So, how is the game going on?
Welcome
Did I?
back. Pretty
Yeah,
pretty
hello,
interesting
hello.
so far. Super
Yeah.
dynamic. I would say so far the resupplies at noon from Fen have just been excellent. Overall, favoring them a little bit, but all things considered, it's been a pretty interactive game, and both players still very much in it.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. So, let me take a look into it. So, first of all, guys, you all wanted to know maybe how the uniquest look like. You see, this is how it is, and it seems good for originally, right? In general. Or would you say there's like a point where Loki could like take a comeback against Fan?
Oh, absolutely. Comeback definitely still possible here. I do think the higher we get in terms of mana, especially if this reserve gets a little bit smaller for Fen,
Yeah.
as it's likely to start getting,
Mhm.
especially once the Anansi gets played out.
Yeah.
I could imagine these card advantage uniques in terms like of this Hua Milan, for example, could take over the game. But as
Yeah.
it stands, the fact that Fen keeps finding advances is really scary. I think small step is looking scarier and scarier as the game progresses.
Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. Now what I can see now is like that actually Fan needs to remove some cards from the reserve, and beside the off you go, what is like completely okay after playing it out like once and not being able to bounce back. Actually, it was like a pretty tough decision with the Ouroboros in custody for Andy and Nancy to see what actually could be like kept in the reserve, because all those three cards are like, I would say like at some point like core cards that actually can open up your turn like easily. It's like either the Anansi that like being able to just like get played out like with a good like amount of buffs at the start. The
Mhm.
Hafer that's more being like in a way of returning a card back to hand, or also like the Ouroboros Inca, so it's not only like a good 2-cost card in general, but it's also like the effect that like I would say like sometimes you are like forgetting as an opponent those cards that like always saying like the next card you play this turn costs 1 less. If you have like just imagine with the trinket like in reserve also like then you would be like able to putting out a 9 mana turn like in this game, and that's like one of the things that's like actually crazy, because those stuff actually getting really fast like out of mind as an opponent. Sometimes I have like to feel about it. So, but there we go. We see the a cappella training as a starting off to actually not only give fleeting to the camel, but also see what more like options the fans actually have to play out, and we will see the Baba Yaga. So, also fan now being able to actually use the a cappella training again on the Baba Yaga to just like being able to actually move both of those characters, and we will see for now the Tinkerbell, and I would guess that the Anansi just would be played out on the companion side to being able to progressing on twice. And as usually it is that fan at least running one copy of Small Step Giant Leap, and of course
Mhm.
the big fan cookers. No, 2 Small Step Giant Sleep is the way to go.
Oh
Not
god.
it's not a personal preference, it's the meta, guys. It's the meta, guys. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
definitely. Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, yeah. It's the yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It's like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're
Acapella training there, that
yeah.
turn, really the perfect card.
Yes,
There
yes,
isn't a better way to deal with this Flamel. Getting
yeah,
full information about how all of the mana will be spent,
yes,
preventing Flamel from going to reserve to potentially discount more spells the upcoming turn, assuming there
yeah,
isn't just a small step giant leap win. That's already fantastic. Starting off with a Tinkerbell, which does threaten to eat the Hua Mulan from the Aphanis' reserve here.
yeah,
Man, I'm just Fen's position's been fantastic. It's been so hard for Aphanis to gain any purchase whatsoever this game.
yeah.
Um, Virtually every turn, drawing cards, but seemingly none of the cards have really been doing anything. And there is the small step. That's enough.
There's the small giant leap, and that's enough. So GG to originally to taking out that game. Nice to see, but I was like, I I I was like running through like a conversation between um like an offenders player and a fan player. And there was like actually like the Afanas player. I don't remember the name, but was also like someone that like played Afanas like a lot and say that like in general don't like to play at fan at all because there's like a high chance that a fan like with those spells taking it over because there's like an early state of the game where fan is being able to getting those cards because of the resupply and many cases to resupply and putting stuff back to the end to get like out of the hand that early and like an Afanas couldn't like actually fast up with it, and I was like, okay, that's interesting to hear. So let's see.
I would
There's
love
another
to
matchup,
jump
yeah.
into table 8, Caleb against Karnag.
Oh, Caleb against Skarnak. Okay.
The reason
Table
why I want to
8.
jump into this one as well
Yeah.
is that it is currently a Sigismar threatening to win the game on Expeditions, and a Rin player on Lyra Festival trying to find a win this turn via the festival.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh.
crazy. Notably as well, Caleb does have a unique in play that gets replayed for free with Asleep when it goes from reserve to the expedition zone. So I think it's pretty clear to me this turn that that Caleb's trying to force removal out early or before they're willing to commit to the
Yeah.
board, everything at least. With that Capelia, however, unfortunately, the Jack Frost that was played from the Sigismar there does prevent the Muna Caregiver's support ability from being activated this turn. And I
Yeah.
believe that's a 1-mana token spammer coming out now from the Sigismar as well. One of
Yeah.
these incredibly strong cards, and that should lock the game up as long as there is any removal spell from Sigismar at this point.
Okay. It's interesting choice. So we will see the Monolithic will be played out with that. In addition, a token spammer that will be out there, but if there's like nothing. I would say it's like GG. I don't have anything in hand. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is brutal. All
Yeah.
right. Well, Caleb takes it with that Lyra Festival. That's impressive. Interestingly, some new cards coming out from the deck here.
Yeah.
Jack Frost, definitely really cool to see in Rin in general, but in a festival strategy, that's really interesting. But Snoozer Shroom doing a pretty cool job this game as well. Nice one.
Yeah. Nice one. So GG too. Caleb. So we still got like I'm looking like for a table to actually join in and Oh, on table one it's interesting. There is Toynus against ESB Pace. Also like two names that I never like heard before, like in the tournament. I don't know if you like one of those players. Do you know them?
I'm sorry, which players?
Table one, it's Turners against ESB Pace. Or S
Hold on one
Pace.
second.
Table one. So I would say I would actually like prefer to join it anyway because then I would see what they're actually playing. But I was like asking, do you know like those players? Or did you like hear them before in any other game?
I definitely have not heard of ESP Pace.
Yeah.
Turnus, though.
And playing Kocho. All right, that's interesting.
No,
Against
I don't know. I don't know either of them.
Oh,
Nope.
oh,
Nothing on my
okay.
spreadsheet either.
Okay. And here we go. The Spindle Harvester. When I leave the expedition zone, if I have one or more boosts, you may return a card other than me from your reserve to your hand. So there's like a small step giant deep. Okay.
Oh,
Never
well,
mind.
that was anticlimactic.
No.
Interesting leave spindles there. Pretty
Yeah.
solid. It also looked like there was an Ortus Cadets unique that had a spell return effect on a when played
Yes.
from anywhere sort of trigger. But yeah, in this case, just small step does the trick. Big surprise. We're used to seeing it at this point. There's no longer any shock when a Izmir player plays that card. It's par for the course.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. So we still got like time. Oh man, those games get like pretty fast. So so many games still up to play. So there's actually another head member. It's Trick on table 46 against Rusty. Maybe we can continue taking a look at that.
46. Ooh.
Yeah, 46. There's like a head. It's
Oh,
also
Trick
from Spain.
from Team Hat. Pretty cool. It's a
Yeah.
hat trick. I see.
Yeah.
Like it. Okay.
Yeah. Good guy. This is like a win against an well, surprised another Evanas, man. Yeah, guys. So I mentioned like last time in another stream. So if you want to have like, if you want to start like casting, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not
Mm-hmm.
sure how to focus like on something or what you actually needs to talk about a lot, beside the fact that you're talking about games in general, if you want to be like the best caster in this world, just learn how Athanos is working, and I can completely 100% sure you're seeing Athanos like in every second game, so then you're being able to actually like cast everything out.
Sigismar as well, my friend.
Sigismar, but
Sigismar
no,
as well.
Sigismar is just like
Um,
it's low tier. It's low tier.
Worth noting is Vasti is
Yes.
playing sort of a non-standard card for
Okay.
Afanis.
Oh,
Most
that's
builds not leveraging Ordis Carrier at
God
rare.
is curious.
It does
Yeah.
seem like they're choosing to play common magical training to enable that and get the rare slots for it.
Yeah.
But otherwise looks really standard. 3 copies of Moth to a Flame, 3 copies of Conjuring Seal. I've seen that from
Yeah.
a lot of builds at this point, and the full set of Beauty Sleep and Helping Hand as well. I
Yes.
definitely like that. Interestingly, only one small step giant leap in the deck. Definitely prevents some of the draws where in early stages of the game you draw
Yeah.
2 small steps when you need to draw anything relevant.
Yes.
But otherwise, interesting that they're not super reliant on it. I think that's one of these cards that it has just been good so often. It often makes up for the downsides of it.
Yeah.
But they're on a different conclusion here, and yeah, maybe this Ordis Carrier is a good tool for the mirror match, for example.
Yeah, that's true. That's all right. So let's see what the case will be now for this game. So now it's the turn of Vasti, our Ephanas player. Just like mentioning that playing on the mobile phone, that's something that I always like to see, because forever, like, now the experience of playing like on the tablet or on the mobile phone, it's like not the best experience. So shout out to everyone that's like using that way to at least still playing. And here we go. We will see the Muff to Flame. So the Muff will actually create it. Actually, everyone is telling me that you're like shouting out Muff if there's like a playing out, but you never did it like.
Moth.
Okay. I did like okay, I didn't miss out anything.
It's totally
No,
true.
yeah, it's, it's actually crazy. But I remember like there was actually like on set one of those early like tournaments where actually someone played like a Thanos with the Ordis carrier. And when I tried out the deck,
Mhm.
I also like played out the Ordis carrier like in the early games before even like people started to play with those Spindler harvesters. Maybe I can
Yeah,
find it. Maybe.
Ordis Carrier is situationally incredibly strong. I personally hate the feeling of drawing cards in the later stages of the game that don't
Yeah.
do anything when you play them, which is one of the reasons why I've typically avoided the card. However, there are other times, especially in mirror matches, for example, where it can just completely take over the game on its own. Just starting with an
Yeah.
extra character every turn means you're very
Yes.
insulated from a lot of removal effects in a lot of cases. Oftentimes for Afanis, you're not really looking to advance by having something that's massive. You're
Yeah.
just looking to advance by having something, and that can often do a really good job at exactly that. Also worth noting, just in general, Moth to a Flame having absolutely
Yes.
found a home in virtually all Afanis lists at this
Yeah.
point at common. One of the biggest upsides of that card is that it sort of counts as both a character and a spell. Increasing the spell count in your deck is excellent for consistency of getting that Afanis hero ability active, but it also creates a character that lets you boost it as well when you play the card. So that often just adds to the consistency of your deck.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where you really worry so much about not
Oh,
having a character to play.
Hat-trick is getting the game. With Red and Orchid, also like something really awesome to see. So GG.
Yeah,
Another
Daughter of
Epiphanes.
Yggdrasil really showing off the big stats there and how
Yeah,
nice they can really be for a Rin and Orchid player.
that's crazy. So here we go. Not that many games are like left being played. So let's see. Do we have like a
Table
table? Yeah,
20.
table 20, and we'll be showing Cracker against Zoa. Oh, table 20. Here we go. Let's go in.
I'm
And it will
excited to
be a
see whether
fan.
Showing Cracker, yeah, is still playing Fen. Very nice. Their
That's
elo has also been
amazing.
climbing. They're hovering around 400.
Yeah.
Definitely doing really solidly with the new Fen builds. I already see in their discard they've had a Will-O'-the-Wisp in play at some
Yeah.
point in this game, and I think that's definitely one of these cool new techs that has been super helpful
Mm.
for the deck.
Yeah.
Playing against Zoa, who we have seen on this Lindaway before. But yeah, currently favoring Lindaway slightly, but with less resources remaining than the Fen.
Yes, that's right. And as we can see from now on, being like a general cool state for fan in general, but Indy will be able, or like so will be able with the Morph Lantern to sacrifice a character to maybe getting out a boost of that. But with the Nightjailer being able to just like play it out from the reserve, getting this magical training back to hand, drawing an additional card, at least I would say for now being able to maybe like progressing on run expedition like safe, also like for the Lindy is like a high chance to do that. It seems pretty awesome. Sora is running 2 copies of Small Step Giant Leap in the list, right? If I remember correctly? If it's
That
the
does
same?
sound correct to me, yes.
Yes, okay, so still there's something like the Joe Cracker needs to take care that like at least there needs like an expedition that actually also needs to be defended. Because if this will not be the case, then there is like always a high chance that a small step giant deep will be played out, taking the win. And as we can see now, there is still even like the Nightjailer with like resource wisely being like a good option for being able to just like removing the magical training back to hand, getting a new card in reserve, maybe also a card that will help out through like something like with reducing a cost or something else. It's still like the case to mentioning that like the most or biggest problem for fan is actually the last regions that were the water region that is like not that represented that much on different cards or like on most cards. As you can see, there are
Mhm,
like not
mhm.
that many cards that being represented for it. So we have like some, okay, it's like a little bit different because with the Aloe Vera and City Kodama that will be played out, but it's like one of the hardest like with expeditions that you actually needs to progressing forward. So it could be also the case that this could be like a companion win for Lindy from now on, if there's not something special on the hand right now.
Yeah, totally agreed on what
Yeah,
you were saying there. Sometimes the expeditions do just end up a little bit weird for Fen based on the characters that you're seeing. Sometimes cards like Aloe Vera playing well on the stat line for water, and other times Nyala Gifted Conjurer doing nothing in
yeah.
terms of water. So it's sort of a mixed bag.
Yes.
But yeah, currently I still think that Fenn's position looks reasonable ish. I would be a little bit worried on the basis that you know that a Maw token is still yet to come out this turn, and we do see
Yeah.
the Moth Lantern, which will trigger a sacrifice, it will generate a Mana Moth, and it will boost up Maw as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, Nyala does appear to be coming back out here, puts a Twinkle Twinkle from hand into reserve, and picks back up that magical training. Twinkle Twinkle having the support ability to discount the next card you play this turn by 1, meaning that actually Fen is still live to be able to potentially have a removal spell or something else relevant this turn.
Yes, it's true. It could be the case, but now, okay, the Tringle. Okay, doing this, doing that. Still being able to playing out the jellyfish for additional boost. They're actually like on the water region like 7 sets out of 7 to actually defending it. And now it's like the biggest question. So let's see what else could be like played out or as a reason. But oh, it's actually the off you go. But I'm not sure if this were helping out. So,
No, I mean, it
mm,
helps them potentially score and advance themselves this
yeah,
turn if
it's
there's
true.
nothing else coming out from
This,
Lindaway's hand, which does appear to be the case. So
yeah,
both players looking to be advancing here. Lindaway does have correct turn order for a small step giant leap win, though, so I think they're more likely to be winning it here with that.
yeah,
However, Fen definitely with a chance as well if they don't find it.
yeah.
Or if Lindaway doesn't find it, rather, Fen has a chance too.
Ah, yeah, that's true. And it's also like a thing that I always have like the feeling with this play that actually fan has like a small step giant leap already in hand and just being like more of a way of okay, I just need to be lucky that this would be not played out right now to play it out for myself, but like with this play of like making sure that both of the expeditions like completely joining in, like also like sacrificing the Lindy and okay, there it is. So the small step giant leap got trot out as it seems from Sora, so GG to him. And besides the fact, I want to see if both of them actually if there was a small step giant leap at the end in hand, that I would quickly check it, and
Ooh,
then maybe
fair
you,
enough.
yeah, and then maybe you can say the next table that I would could join.
I think it's very likely all of these tables will be done by the point at which we're getting to them.
Yes. So I go to the game and fast. And oh, like 2 billion. Yeah, there was a small step giant leap in hand.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
guess it's correct, guys. I can now officially say that I know how to play fan.
Well,
Easy.
should have had correct turn order then, huh?
Yeah. Should I just like simple like
Unlucky.
that? Yeah.
You
Get
win
booked
some, you
and stuff
lose
like that.
some. Oh,
Yeah.
brutal.
It is what it is. So we can either like watching Chocobar again, hostaging someone, but we also could like take a turn to Gi Room and Kinder on the ball through. On table. Oh, I didn't look which table it is. It's table.
Well.
Table 43. Okay. All right. And it would be again. Oh, okay. What's happening here? No hero. We know that's playing Indy, but
Yo,
again,
it's
a
Lindaway
Basira.
season. What do you mean,
Yeah.
Afanas? This is the new peak
Yeah.
Izmir hero.
We should start to actually like making Gimar always cost 1 for Lindy, because as we see now, it's pretty unfair. And yeah,
True.
also in general, I would say like that Babas Ispa should be removed from the game, like suspended. Yeah.
Yeah, Haven,
Yes.
Bravos Bastion,
Mm.
Baba's Isba, that was the real
Yeah,
suspension
it's like
target.
the real suspension. Chocobar stage is fun. Killen should like it. It plays with 5 cost Easy Talks. Oh, the Easy Talks. Didn't you also had like play line up from like 3 Easy Talks like for your
Yep.
Lindy list back?
That was my Lindy with my
Mm.
budget Isitox. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
6 mana Isitox because I did not have the. There was a little bit of hype about 5 mana
Yeah.
Isitox going around, and that did
Yeah.
result in some price spikes to Spindle Harvester levels in some cases for this Isitok unique. So
Yeah.
I was happy to avoid that and play some cool 6 mana
Oh,
ones instead. But yeah, that was a thing at some point. Pretty cool.
yes.
The thing I liked about Shokobar's Hostage Akesha was
Yeah.
actually the Ether Shard permanent. That card always makes me
Ooh.
happy to see.
Yes. And here we go. Again, the Lady of the Lake will be played out. Different unique that we saw before. When I go to the reserve from the expedition zone, you may pay 1. If you do, you may discard target permanent. And Jerome is saying GG, so in this case, actually, Basira will take the game. And now, if Jerome wants to surely win this game, he could also like wait out 12 seconds. And, oh, okay, so the Cybers will not change anything for this game. So, GG to Kinder on the ball through. And maybe it was actually the last game of round 4. So we can directly jump into round 5. And I will try the table, would quickly grab something to drink. I forgot so many stuff to putting to my desk today. Man, but I was also like really late from work home, so got like 10 minutes left to prepare my food and stuff like that. So forgot it at that case. So which table you want to see now? Do we have like a table?
My question is, have you already spectated a Gamma Knight game
No,
today?
actually not.
In that
No.
case, let's go table 16.
Table 16. Gamma Knight against Exodus. Get me out of there. Oh no. Oh no. Please not again. Okay. Will it be after weeks the first time that the hour was just like running fine? Like BGA in general? Is there like no new hidden patch that will running through the servers and we're not being able to continue the tournament for some minutes? There's like the question that we should get answered. We're still like on round 5, so there's still plenty of time that BGA could decide to do it again. But no, anyway, I will just grab out my drink. This will like take a couple of seconds. Hold on a second.
No stress. Gamma Knight on their classic Nevenka. This is the hero of choice for Gamma Knight. We've always seen them on Nevenka, and one of the players with the most success with the hero. Playing against the Sigismar Exodus, not super familiar with them, but cool always seeing some awesome new faces to the A.W.O.L scene. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what sort of build they are on with the Sigismar. They
yes,
did just take down a pretty solid player in Tempête de la Neige, the Afanis player. So
yeah.
I could, I'm imagining that there's going to be some good things to come from the Sigismar.
Yes, that's right. But I'm also interested, like in general, about the Nivenga. This is like one of the rare chances to see in Nivenga in action, and also like Gamma Knights is really interesting because usually if there's like one or two of you that's like going for the marketplace and searching for nice cards for like Nivenga that's fitting in, it's almost like the unique stat would be like being for sale and also like getting sold are like either like mage dancers that like resupply, or for example just like turning a card back to hand for every dice that roll, or even like other cards that giving anchor and stuff like that. But Gamma Knight is something different. His deck, it's just like straight to the point, playing out, rolling the dice, be happy, make sure to win the game. I know that he like added like a header, and that like if you roll one or more dice, you may return a card back to the hand, but it was like a really late time that he like add those cards there before. It was just like a strong Kappa uniques that had like
Yes.
amazing stats. And this is like one of the things that I like about Gamma Knight, or what I realized when to play against him. It's like the case of how fast he can catch you like offhand with his cards, because there's like a chance that like Navenka getting really crazy or like fast out of hand just cause out of these roll a dice mechanics. So let's see if this will be the case now again, and let's see if Exodus will be ready for it or not.
Yeah, no, Gamma Knight definitely one of the players who I think just gets Navenka the best. You're totally right. When I think of Gamma Knight, I think of
Mhm.
Kappa Uniques. Absolutely, that is something that he is still playing. I do believe in most cases here. I do think his Kappas also have some sort of return effect at this point. Some upgrades made over time, but overall, Kappa just a big statted thing for reasonably cheap cost in a lot of cases. In this specific situation, we're seeing a Navenka try to set up to roll some dice in general that start with the martingale that they had, will let them insulate themselves from some of the variation that we do see from that hero ability. There will be less of these ones being rolled when that
Yeah,
martingale can be in play. However, with it being returned to their hand there and just not having the ability to play it out, yeah, that category in Mage Dancer did get sent to reserve,
yeah,
but really notably, interestingly enough, that does let them take an expedition progression this turn, as they are then
yeah.
able to replay it off to that companion side. So not really the optimal scenario there for Gamma Knight, but it actually works out reasonably well. Ends up being even on resources with the Sigismar, even on expeditions, and like that as well, the Ortis Attorney doesn't get to draw Sigismar an extra card. So in a lot
Yeah.
of ways, that turn actually ends up really reasonably for the Navenka, despite how bad rolling a 1 can look like in a lot of circumstances.
Yes, that's true. And as you can see now, both of them on the same spot when it comes through the expeditions. So also like from the game set in general, beside the fact that like Siggy got like a small token every turn on the hero side, it being like the same hand cast, so almost like the same state of game for us because we don't see what's like being in the hand. And here we go. Here would be the winter outfits for now. So let's see what the case would be and for what the winter outfits will be used. So yeah, let's see what's happening. We will see the martingale rolling up a dice, being able to progressing again on one expedition at least, or maybe like on another one if there would be like a card would be played out. And here we go. It's the Kappa. When you roll one or more dice, you may have target character other than me lose fleeting, being able to progress on both sides. Segasma decided to actually keep those hand cards still again. So let's see if this was like actually a good choice of Exodus, or if this would be like a game change now and Niranga would just like taking over.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see that Kappa just looking so strong here. The fact that the rolling dice effect on this Kappa specifically prevents, or at least keeps your characters around in the form of losing fleeting, can be so important on these low resource situations that Navenka sometimes does fall into. So we will see here, though. It's definitely possible that some removal could come out reasonably cheaply, especially in the form of teamwork training here, which would pair with the Ortis cadets that we're currently seeing in reserve for the Sigismar. So I would definitely say that Sigismar is not really too far behind as long as they find a couple important cards here.
Yes, it's true. And what I also wanted like to I was thinking of a point like actually I've realized that now like almost like in that case that oh okay, not again, but I was like if the Martingale would be played out again, then there would be like a safe additional turn that this Kappa would be played out again, right? Because
Yep.
there's like no chance at all it's like was defeating, and now we see that they actually Gamma Knight needs to decide to actually passing out the turn, and there is still like a chance that the Orders cards could be played out from the reserve, just like to the companion side, and also then Exodus will be able to progressing on both expeditions, but with that Martingale, for example, playing out on the hero side, rolling the dice, giving the Kappa, losing fleeting, this would be like still like a strong state of the game for Gamma Knight in general. But now
Mhm.
it seems like that this turned a little bit, and now it could be the chance that actually Exodus will be like in a great spot. So
Yeah,
let's see what will be the
definitely
case.
Ortis Spy being an awesome card in a low resource situation for Sigismar's opponent there. Something that's really important that I do want to note there is the fact that Gamma Knight chose to pass their turn while Nevenka still had their hero ability that they could have used. In so many situations, it's so important to note you don't have to use your hero ability on Nevenka. And in a lot of cases, it's just going to be better not to. You don't want to have the critical fail chance in many cases of
Yeah,
that loss scenario. Rolling a one
yeah,
there would have prevented them from gaining a critical expedition progression this turn. And it would have to be cards specifically like that Ortis Cadets plus like a Ortis Trooper
yeah,
coming out from hand, for example, in order to
yes.
actually block otherwise. And that just doesn't give enough reason to activate the hero ability in a lot of cases when it could be so game losing if they were to roll badly. So
Yeah.
oftentimes Nevenka's hero ability can be much more useful in terms of just as a threat,
Yes.
not really having to activate it always. It's just
Mm.
yeah, good to note. This is some heads up play from Gamma.
Yeah, that's true. And it's also like being the fact that I totally forgot to mention like when I talked like about before. So we know it like in general about like Sigispa is like I would say like most of the with known deck that okay with 6 mana to like 7 mana this deck is it's already like enough to play out almost every turn a complete lineup for Sigispa that's like being strong enough to take over the board,
Hmm.
right? But it's also like in the case of Nevenka, with like the ability and also like in general, okay, we see like those covers, but beside the covers, they're also like in general really, really low cost running out in Nevenka. That's also like being easy, just like to stick on 4 mana, keeping those hand cards instead of manaing them, and just playing out, still being able to progressing, and also with the okay, the teamwork training will be played out. So never mind, it's looking so much better and better for Exodus because I wanted to say still, even if this was like maybe a turnaround for Exodus right now, it's just like the fact that Gamma Knight actually being one expedition ahead, so also could just like continue to sticking around on those banners, so playing out the cards from his hand, sticking to the hand cards, and there's still a high chance, especially against Sigispa, being able to progressing forward. But as you can see now, the other spy will be played out again. So, whew, this is
Yeah,
a
just
tough spot for Gamma Knight if there's like, but still being able to progressing at least on one expedition. And Gamma Knight is running a small step giant leap. So maybe this will be the game and this will be the
definitely
ending.
possible. As you mentioned, it is just one copy of Small Step, so we will see there. Nice die roll from the Nevenka there. Getting anchored for the next turn. I feel like that means that the card in their hand is not currently the Small Step Giant Leap. They would have been perfectly happy just passing otherwise without saying that they're going to need a bit more incremental advantage chance. So rolling the die there. So
Yeah.
I would guess that there's no small step yet, but we'll see if they draw it here.
Yes, that's right. So let's see. how this game will ends would be like the fast ending version. At some point, sometimes I have the feeling like of remove small step giant lead, but on the other hand, I'm excited that a card like that is existing, so you can build around your game plan for that if you have it like early intent or stuff like that. So I don't know. Do you have like general thoughts about small step giant leap, especially if we
I
see
think
yeah.
I think that in Nevenka specifically, it is an
Mhm.
excellent aggressive tool, but
Mhm.
I understand why they're not playing more than the one. Rare
Yeah,
slots are at an ultra premium in this deck, and I think that Gamma Knight does recognize that many of the use case scenarios for Small Step, the
yeah,
card Sandman often does just as good, if not better, in a lot of cases. Um, and for that reason, I don't think they're super reliant on it the way that many other decks are to close out the game in the same way, because they do have multiple effects between Sandman and Twinkle Twinkle in these
yes,
critical moments that can just completely take over the end of the game on its own. So we'll see here if Sigismar has a third Ortis Spy. I think it's going to look pretty good for them. But otherwise, it's entirely possible that they lose the game
yeah.
here, depending. But they do have a third Ortis Spy.
Ooh, that's crazy. So now is the question: is there something? Oh, okay, yeah. Now the dice will be rolled down, and it is and I would guess yeah, Ruby go to the hero side, and I would say for now that's that's it. Gamma Knight will take the game. There's like no chance taking it back, right?
No, there is. Any 2 mana character would bring them to tiebreaker.
Any? Oh yeah,
Any
I
two
oh
mana
yeah,
character,
yeah, yeah.
yep.
I totally forgot to see the hero expedition, but it could
And
also just
removal.
be
Yep.
yeah, to remove it. I was too focused on the companion side, but like saw the hero expedition a little bit too close. So okay, now the teamwork training will be played out, and we guess that the first phone will be removed, but there's something that Exodus okay, just like want to make sure to see how it goes on. So let's go for the overtime, where also Exodus being able to stick around the orders by. And there's a long time ago that I saw like a charge from an Sigismar in general. So hopefully now, maybe at least once in the game, I will see the charge will be played out, and then I can be happy for the rest of this evening. Or if
There's
it's like the case.
unfortunately, on for the perspective of our Nevenka player, there's a really unfortunate non-bow that's currently happening as well, where the snowman only works to add stats to mountain and water regions. However, Persephone turns things into only forest regions, meaning that the snowman wouldn't actually add any stats on its own. So that's sort of a brutal scenario there. It's possible that Persephone or the
Yeah.
snowman, like that one or the other, is just likely to not get played whatsoever because they just don't work well together.
Yes, it's true. And oh, whew. This seems pretty good. Okay, so the Baba Yaga will be played out. Being able to run additional card with 5 mana, there's also like the potential that actually the last 3 cards that like Exodus have right now could be easily played out, or at least like 2 cards for sure. So now it's the turn of Nevenka. Could just like play out the first phone, so at least that is it still like an overtime that like um they're losing the other types and it's just like counting for the hero expeditions or and
That is
oh
my belief.
okay yeah I also was thinking about it. Oh, when another non-token character choice expedition monolith gets token spammer, best token spammer out. I'm just like telling you
Oh,
guys, I'm telling you I have one of my own. If you want to have it, just write me a message. I'm selling it. Hey, yeah, welcome to the market market watch with Andy. And oh, okay, it's working for both? All right. I didn't know that. I was thinking that they still like got splitted, you know? Like split. But
no, it works. It works.
okay.
Yeah, unfortunately here for Gamma Knight, it's just not going to be enough to beat this token spammer just plus a ton
Nah,
of characters.
no
Still
way.
manages some good stats beforehand, but
Yeah.
yeah, not enough. Largely because that Persephone does do a good job, but not being able to play certain cards along with it, it's a rough time.
It's interesting, but it's like I didn't know like that the tiebreaker is like representing every expedition facing me. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe we talked about some BGA bugs. Maybe is there a chance that it's like, could someone help out in the chat?
I think that's intended.
Okay, yeah, okay, it could be. I don't know. I'm not rooting for that card. I don't play it. So, so we still got some games up. So GG to the Sigma. Taking out the ranker. Always nice to see having an ranker in watch for the stream. So, which, so many options, right?
Definitely.
Maybe,
Also noting that
yeah.
Cladius, leader of Team Altered Aces, is yet again undefeated in one of these A.W.O.L events thus far. So we will likely be seeing them in the final round.
Okay, so
Notably, they're
maybe
hanging out with the rest of, or much of the rest of Team Altered Aces in their Discord altogether. I think they have like 16 people or so on, just hanging out, watching, spectating some of their games. Pretty cool seeing a team so active
it's
showing up in this
amazing.
event.
That's amazing. And I want to take a look. Maybe we can go to table 17, Genetic against Stackeroon. These, and it's someone from Potter. That's amazing. So let's jump. Oh, we see you would know this matchup. It's been the same matchup again, Fan against Sigisma. So against Yura against others. So now sometimes I'm asking myself because like Lyra in general is all about festival, having a nice time and partying and stuff like that. You know what you know? And all this is more like of the how do you say that?
Law and order.
Yeah, law and order. And I'm feeling like, is there a chance that some of the Lyras just like going around the city doing like graffitis and stuff like that, and all this needs to take care of it?
I think it's more likely that there's Ordis troopers on the off time that are going and raving with the Lyra people.
Yeah.
So
It could be also that case. And also like
bit
the
of
other
both, bit of
side.
this, bit of that.
It's amazing. Yeah, maybe is there like a channel of like story of Altered? This is like a thing that should be opened from someone that knowing the lore.
There's a good amount of lore, yeah.
Yeah, so you could like, I would say you could like create an own channel just like explaining the lore. I would say for now, because every card has like their own lore that's fitting into the story of each set. It's crazy. But it's
Dagger
like
on there just cleaned up that last turn, by the way. Just eats everything, it sleeps everything. Hypothermia does a great job pairing it with Sandman, even stronger. So nice little double advance to close that one out against an incredible player like Genetic. So solid.
Solid. So let's see. Still got some games left. So maybe we could take a look on. Do we have a table? Maybe?
I'm on table 3, watching, seeing Anafanos try to come back against Atasia here.
Oh, I like to see Ephanos losing to Atisha, but we can join in and maybe.
That is likely what is happening here.
Oh, that's amazing. Nah, just kidding. So let's see how the game will still go on. As we can see again, as a Lopez that we watched before with the Spindle Buddha Bastion, what is actually in case of like the Ophiogo that Ephanos could easily play out. Maybe a nice thing to have right now. And as we can see, both Okos being on the reserve, so there would be a lot of boosts going up. So for now, it seems actually really hard. And there we go. It's the Blizzard. Okay.
You guys in the viewers booth didn't get to see it, but that turn started out with the Spindle Muna Bastion being played by the Tasia player. I believe it was also resupplied there by the Spindle Harvesters. So such a nice hit there in that case as well, being able to insulate them from a lot of removal this turn. Blizzard does look awesome there, removing so much. but it's not going to be enough, largely thanks to the expeditions that
Yeah.
the spindle harvesters found itself on this turn. Having that additional stat point in forest, definitely helping there a little bit, and just overall, yeah, looked like it was a turn that went really well
Yeah,
for Tasia. That was solid.
true. So GG at all for getting this game. So let's jump directly into the next one. If there's still like some tables up, but I would say yes. So we're coming to an end for this tournament almost. So I'm excited, like still for so many players being there, still around 80, so 94 players still playing. So I would guess maybe like tournament would be finished with 90 players to 80. That's like crazy for the last round. And yeah, some tables still up. So I guess we would go to table 19, Alcatraz against Nina. Didn't
Okie
watch
dokie.
like a game before that. There are like many new players. And oh no, he's not. Yes. And again an Akisha. Okay,
Ooh,
with
that's
one of
interesting to see.
those Belasanga uniques that's like, I don't know why it's happening, but every time when I go to the marketplace and take a look on Isma uniques, those cards will never go down like under 200 euros or stuff like that sometimes in the
Yeah,
feeling.
people love their moths.
Yeah,
By the
it's
way,
like,
moth. And
yeah,
yeah, Neelam doing a pretty good job at synergizing with these Belasenkas. Notably, I believe both of these actually exhaust 2 cards in reserve when you play them, which means they can be
yeah.
super strong and self-enabling,
Ooh,
which is nice. One of them functions as sort of a Baku, which is
yeah,
absolutely insane, actually. Thinking about it, exhausting 2 cards in reserve forces your opponent to play things out from hand, and then a
yeah.
leaves the expedition zone, forcing them to discard again. That's
Yes.
an incredibly strong discard effect, actually. I can see why that's a pretty cool strategy.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. So, now, ooh, still got some tables left. So, always a nice. So you can choose now. You can choose now. I choose too much. I choose enough.
It's on me. 13, let's go.
Yeah,
It's an
cool.
Aphanis mirror.
Table 13 in a Fanas mirror. Okay.
Oh, and it is ending.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no. Okay, so the next table that you can choose.
That is a great question.
Yeah, like so many.
29, Valenson against
Mm,
Alamos.
yeah, let's go in.
They
It
are
would
in
be
a tiebreaker. Oh,
Koso
this is good
against
timing.
Sigma, yes.
Yeah, Kojo against Siggy. Both players notably having a character in reserve and a spell, a removal
Yeah,
spell, also in reserve. Interestingly, both removal spells looking sort of awkward in this situation.
yeah,
Haven Bouncer, if it gets played out from the Kojo from reserve, is going to be too big to get Tiny jailed. And otherwise, if a small character from Sigismar gets Mana Eruption, that's probably a pretty good trade for them as well. Notably, though, Kojo with 2 Haven Bravos Bastions in play, if they do find some sort of resupply effect for themselves this turn, it could just result in a lot of stats.
yes. And it's also like to mention like with those Uneruption, actually the coach decided to actually don't play put like any card in mana, so there's like a chance or like a show off for like maybe the Sigisma for Rensler being like, okay, this mana eruption will not be played out for that turn. And oh, as we can see, yeah, getting the additional boost for Aquilano Milk, and there it is. We will see, okay, there are like a lot of stuff going on, so basically
Oh,
it's
wow.
boosting up. Okay, alright. And Haven 20 with 2 nice reserve effects being played out, and there we go. Still being able to play the mana eruption is a nice to have. That's amazing. So
Yeah, that
Just
Haven
would be
trainee
before.
coming with a built-in charge, it just does
Uh,
a great job, and that will be enough to lock it up
yeah.
for them. Mana Eruption not enough to remove
No,
stats
actually.
across the board, and
Yes.
despite the crazy amount of stats that that one Haven bouncer coming out from reserve there seemed
Yeah.
to make, it did not make much of a difference.
It's true. So there are still 2 tablets being played. So let's take a look if Chocobar being able to finish with the deck. And yeah, it seems like it almost comes to an end. So we can go to the other table because we know what's happening there. And it will be the table on table 41. Let's go into it. And it will be an Afanas again. And Gojo. And now you can also see the game, guys.
Oh yeah, triple Haven in play currently for Kojo, but no cards left for them to make use of at this point. So they're sort of at the mercy of what Afanas has at this stage. But you know, potentially it's going to be a little tough. Multiple things need to happen here in order for the Afanas to stay alive, and with just 3 mana, it has to be pretty specific, the things they have access to. Potentially a double removal spell or some combination of like Beauty Sleep plus Off You
Yeah.
Go would definitely do the trick. But otherwise, it's looking pretty tough.
Yes, it's true. So let's see how this game will end. So, interesting choice right now. What the case would be.
But interestingly, I think the Kojo player might be timing out here, unfortunately. They don't have any decision left to make, but it is their turn to make a decision. And we see that they're now dipping well into the negatives in time. So I'm worried that they're just timing out for some reason.
Yes, it's true. That's true. So, hmm. So there's nothing that you can do about it. I would say you should pass. Okay, you're just like using the end of game. Okay, okay, okay. So at least reassured that rounds. No, no, no way.
Hmm?
Shogo is hostage. No, he's hostage the entire round. Hello, hello, Caleb. Oh no. He's
Hostage
hostage
Akesha really showing off the
again.
actual game plan. The game plan wasn't to hostage
Oh,
their opponents, it was to hostage the entire tournament and the entire stream. That's impressive.
it's impressive. And then there are like people that like I'm too mean if I'm saying like don't hostage tournament. I don't know. I'm not
Ooh,
sure, guys.
we do see
Ooh,
something different this game from the Akesha that we didn't see in the previous one, which was
yeah.
the Sakurabu. So apparently they can also loop that card to set their opponent back each turn. Just as a
Yes,
little side note.
yes. Okay, at least it's located. If I didn't already say hello, I don't remember. Oh boy. Okay, round six started. Round six started.
Beautiful. Happy to see it, and I think it is. You know, it's time to check in with our top tables. We have
Yes.
2 different
Oh,
undefeated players from Team Altered Aces. You
yes.
guys are killing it today. Well done. Who do you want
Oh,
to check
yeah.
out?
It's amazing. So I would say, mm, yeah, maybe maybe take a look on Clidius because we didn't like watched him before. If you want to,
Fair enough. That works for
or
me.
do you want to go to Wish and Serentipiku?
Actually, you know, I would rather go to Wesh
Yeah.
because I don't think I've actually seen their opponent play before as well. So
Oh, okay.
that
Yeah.
could be pretty exciting.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. Okay.
Serendipitique, very cool. From the Netherlands. All right.
All right.
So
So
we have Wesh playing that Lindaway that we saw earlier. I
no,
believe this was
again
the
a
player
Lindy
who
top
won
table.
the Lindaway matchup, the mirror match, versus
That's
the Kojo.
crazy.
I'm definitely interested in this matchup dynamics. That could be really interesting. Definitely expecting to see this Moonlight Jellyfish get sacrificed this turn. The real question is, what
Yeah,
for? Is it going to be a Moth Lantern or a Gift of Self? And it's a Gift of Self, picking up a
good
couple cards
question.
there,
Yeah,
setting up pretty well for next turn as well, which
yeah.
is the nice part about that. And as it stands, looking like they're going to be trading 1-for-1 on expeditions.
And as you can see now, Demon already played out the gift to self, being able to draw digital cards. So I'm not sure like how this matchup in general is like working because I was like I've got like the feeling, guys, that actually I know how Lindy is like working because it's like not the strongest deck. I like in my opinion, but now I'm just like realizing I don't have like any clue what's happening with Lindy because at some point people are like coming around and start to actually getting really, really good results for Lindy in general, right? That's like funny. And maybe this is like the second Lindy that we will see on a top spot,
Yeah,
being
I'm
able to get
I'm
it.
personally super excited to be seeing that hero enter the
Yeah,
top echelons of competitive play. That is super cool. And from what I understand as well, I'm pretty sure that Wesh's uniques are actually really synergistic with the hero. Uh,
yeah,
and from what I'm seeing, it's Dorothy Gale uniques in a couple cases that also remove characters
yeah,
while sacrificing something. So definitely get it there. That's synergistic. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's also, as we mentioned the last time, not really the sort
yeah,
of crazy, insane, hyper expensive uniques that we've come to
yeah.
know and maybe love from the altered competitive scene.
Maybe, yeah,
So, maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But what I would definitely say is, yeah, deck seems to be doing quite excellent regardless of the quality of the uniques.
yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's true. As you can see, the Sonic of Control will be an Haven Bouncer, removing the Moonlight Jellyfish, what's like in general also like a good option because there would be like a high chance to just draw an additional card when this Moonlight Jellyfish for getting sacrificed. So instead choosing the Categoran Alchemist to playing out on the Hero Expedition, blocking it for now. We still see that the Gaucho got the Bravos Pathfinder back in reserve, would be able to just like playing it out either on Kira's side to maybe being surely progressing forward, but also being
Yeah,
able to just like play it out on the companion side. But there's like a high chance if there's something will get actually sacrificed from the Lindy, then the Mars still being able to progressing through the water region. And here we go, the Leo Navigator will come out.
yeah.
So,
This is
and
exactly the line I was going to
oh,
mention. I think that
and
Kojo was trying to figure out the best way that they could play around a Moth Lantern coming down this turn, which
ooh,
does guarantee a progression on both sides as it stands. It doesn't
yes.
look like they had any option though, because also this Bravos Pathfinder in reserve doesn't play well on the expeditions that the
Yeah.
Lindaway would have been able to advance
Yes.
on. So
Yeah.
unfortunately for them, they pretty much had to concede something to it. I like the choice of setting up something that potentially synergizes well, like with this when played from reserve effect on the
Yeah.
Kojo's Lyra Navigator. So definitely get that there. That makes sense. But yeah, overall, really strong play. Moth Lantern is the sweetest new tool out of this Lindaway deck, and it's so useful.
Yes, that's right. And what I also want to mention is like that already seems so good for Rush, like this game board for now on what we can see like in the reserves, like even if like Kocho being able to okay, like with the Haven Bouncer, Haven Power Space would be a change, but it's like the region types, like for the hero expeditions, as we could like see from Plot, what we saw like on the reserve for our Kocho player. This was like an actually completely okay spot because even if like the rapid fire would be like not there in the case for now on because we didn't know that like before, and the Lyra Navigator and the Pyrus Pathfinder wouldn't be like not enough at all to actually progressing forward. And it's like one of those things that I like. If you're being like in this state of game where you're just like being one expedition forward, then you can start to actually being like focusing off one line. And it's also like a little bit helping against the coach. But as we can see now, the Fire Rabbit is there, the Hero Navigator, at least two cards could be played out. But I would say for now, as for those, what I'm seeing, it's like, hmm, maybe it's like not enough. except playing the Lyra Navigator on the companion side and getting like an additional boost, right?
Yeah, yet
But
again, the
ooh,
Kojo just in poor expeditions for
yes,
themselves as well.
yeah,
Bravo's Pathfinder yet again would be wouldn't let them advance on the
mm,
hero side. So it definitely gives Lindaway a chance to contest, despite
yeah.
how otherwise this turn could set up having access to Haven, Bravos Bastion, plus multiple things to play from reserve. So
Oh,
definitely possible that Lindaway
here it
could find an
is.
advance here through
Yeah.
everything.
And Tears is again the category Alchemist will be played out from hand, being a strong turn and also like line up for 3/3, but that is the mana eruption actually being played out. And I would guess that this category mage would be go away. So if there's nothing left for like 1 mana, then actually, yeah, it's being both expeditions that our coach who can going up, and it's getting closer already, like a
Mhm.
close match where you're not like could like tell right now who would take this game, because it
Yeah,
saw like Lindy would take over, but then like with this 1 mana eruption plus the Hero Navigator,
excellent
that's
turn from
crazy.
the Kojo. Oftentimes, that's a really
Yes,
scary position to be mana eruptioning, considering that you are on such little mana. But the
yes,
cards that Kojo has access to that are currently in reserve are both
mhm,
very cheap and will add
yes,
a lot of stats onto the board now that they are on optimal expeditions for themselves to progress.
ooh,
So that's definitely really good for them.
yeah,
And yeah, everything synergizing with Haven Bravos Bastion super well here. Just so many additional stats, but it is a turn where Lindaway can potentially do some really strong things, given that they'll have access to the Maw, and Kojo
yes,
needs, in all circumstances here, to stop a double advance from happening. That is how
yeah.
Lindaway easily wins this game.
Yeah, this is right. But as you can see now with the Pathfinder being played on a really good expedition, it's been a nice starting off. Then afterwards, the Tiny Trinity played out on the hero side. So there's like a really high chance that actually our coach wants to make sure that this progress will happen. Still sad because there's like just like one set for the plant region type. So still Arolindy being able to actually getting out the Morph Lantern to create a mana morph, so being able to expedition on both sides. And now it's like the question if Kocho still got like a 2 cost and 1 cost back from the reserve with the Fire Weapon to 1 cost, and if they're just like sitting around a 2 cost card, so maybe potentially could at least progressing on one expedition forward and could stop our Lindy. And as we see now, the Fire Rabbit will be played out, so our Ma will take this spot, and now the Chrysalis will be played out, so actually the 10. Oh no, the Baba is I'm sorry, I didn't thought about the Baba's is. So actually, if there's like okay, so getting 4 for free, but if the Chrysalis will like getting sacrificed, then Lindy will be able to progress on both expeditions, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is going to turn out for a double
Mm.
advance for Lindaway,
Oh,
despite
man.
everything else. So if that last card is a small step, this game
Yes.
is just going to go in favor of Lindaway. If that card is not
Ooh.
small step, they're in a position where drawing it will win the game for them. But
Yes.
otherwise, they're likely trying to play for a arena potentially. But it's actually, a really interesting spot. It will be hard for Kojo to get a double advance this turn,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
despite having that Buddha, especially if Lindaway finds something like a sabotage effect instead of like a small step giant leap, or just
Mhm.
removal in general, because Kojo is working with less mana. So really tough spot overall, but both players very low on cards. Let's see. Does Lindaway have the small step
Mhm.
here?
And this is right. Really, and we will see another process will be played out. So it would take like really good in general for our coach, but there it is. Oh, all right. So the True Fire will be played out, and I guess, hmm,
Oh, this is gonna
mm,
get so difficult.
yes, but it could be either like the Chiron, so just like subbing out to give out an additional boost, or maybe also like the red because of the high stats that will be put on board. And it's actually the tiny chin. Okay, interesting choice. So I want to
Mhm.
see which cards are being left in the hand of our Lindy.
I love that choice of the Tiny Jin. In virtually all circumstances here, the Kojo will
Ooh,
be playing out
Space
all of the
Baaby.
remaining cards from reserve, and this play does set up best for the potential tiebreaker here.
Yes.
Getting rid of that Tiny Jin will prevent the Kojo from going into the next turn with yet an additional mana, and they will also be out of cards in reserve, so likely there will be nothing to synergize with Haven Bravos Bastion, as long as Lindaway is able to find a way to advance through something on any stat line here. But we'll see. Wesh
GG.
saying GG. Could this
Is,
be an off you go to take the game?
could it be an off you gonna take the game or could it be an
It
oh
is. It is a removal effect.
crazy?
How impressive.
That's
I
amazing. And
can't
there's also
believe it.
another winner on the other table. Already like in GG Rare put down in the chat. I don't want to spoiler guys because we could like join in directly after this game.
And here I
So
was thinking that we
GG.
wouldn't have another Lindaway player going 6
Yeah,
and 0 in a solid event on BGA for a
yeah,
while after Zoa took that
yeah.
result and claimed the victory on 39 cards there for a bit. No,
Mhm.
move aside. Wesh
Yeah.
is here.
It's even just saying, okay, so I actually wanted to claim like on 39cards.com that we're like the only tournament where Lindy got 6-0, but
Not
yeah, thank you
anymore.
so much, Reach, for taking it. So congrats, Owl. Now we're like the tournaments that have like Lindy's on the main spot, and also the second table got to be finished. And if nothing will be changing out now, then SLopus will be on the first place and Wish on the second. But both of them
Mhm.
got like 50 opponent points. But as you like said at one time, it could be changed even until the end, right? Or
It could be,
mm,
but because it depends on their opponent's points. So it depends on what the opponent, their previous opponents in the tournament, how they perform in the last round as well. So we
ooh,
could see, but of course, at this point, the ranking doesn't really matter there. As far as A.W.O.L is concerned, you get the same results anyway. You are listed as a weekly winner. If you go 6 and 0 in one of these, you get the prizing from Simon.
yeah.
Pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how it works. So both these
Mhm.
players sharing that top spot.
No, that's amazing. And it's amazing that we still could like take some games, but for now, we're surely that Azalopus and Trash being the undefeated players, so Tisha and surprisingly again Lindy. So maybe a chance that more and more amazing Lindy lists will come out. So I know there will be like an easy copy paste for me because I have some amazing uniques for Lindy actually. So I can try them out now. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know
So
what we were doing complaining about Sigismar and Afanas
yeah,
respectively
yeah,
between me
Lindy.
and you, but yeah, apparently it's
Lindy.
Lindy and Tasia which we had to have our eyes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I would say like Lindy is like super OP, so maybe we should take like care of her, maybe like being on the watch list or something.
I think one of the really hard things about
Yeah,
playing against Lindaway specifically is that you're virtually never in a position where you can quite understand how the stats are going to come out.
yeah.
In general, it's really obvious when a maw is made, you know if something is sacrificed, it will get 2 boosts the maw.
Mhm.
But now there's a lot of circumstances where maybe the card that's going to cause a sacrifice is a Moth Lantern, and then suddenly
Yeah,
you're getting 2 stats on that side. Or maybe instead you're just playing out a what's the card? Mobile Armory at rare, for
yeah,
example, and
yeah.
suddenly it's just a
Yes.
token instead that you're thinking about. And it's really hard to make correct decisions into that,
Yeah.
which gives a Lindaway a lot of advantages in some situations. So
Yeah, that's
yeah, definitely super sweet. Let's check
yeah.
in with table 3 if they're still active. That's Tachyfire against Teitu, a
Ooh,
Team Altered Aces mirror match.
Female is mirror. Let's jump right into it, and it's fan against the fairness. And guys, in the chat, you can guess for who I will cheering, and it's of course for the Chen Long that's
Um,
playing out.
yeah,
I have
the
tough
top 2
too.
4 mana
Okay,
Shenlong that got played. I'm a fan of that. That's cool.
that's amazing, and also like using Gaver to actually putting the header back to hand. So it seems like wants to make sure to actually progressing again through the companion side with those stats. So
Mhm.
let's see if this would be the case or if there are like any other reasons that this got removed back instead of just like removing it. So I'm interested in. But if you control one or more landmarks, roll a die. But I suggest that actually Tattoo not playing any landmarks is just like for the Chenlong with the anchoring stats, right? Could be the case. Yeah. Now, is he running some landmarks in it? Like, I would not. I would say no, right? Like some landmarks or
It
expeditions.
depends.
Gears.
There are sometimes the new ones as well, like Icebound Taiga, for example, that do get played.
Check that.
Um, I do believe as well. I mean, some fans have always chosen to play like a mid-range Lyra festival, but in this case, I don't think they're playing any of them. I think they're just using
Oh,
it for the fact that it's a 5 5
yeah.
5 with tough 2 for 4 on the front side, and if they resupply it, it's just a really good support ability.
Yeah, but it's like it's because of the ability, yeah. And it's also like in our bros group here with each bear controlled by target player gains fleeting as a support ability and having 5 stats in the rudder region. So I guess it's more like in the case of an awesome support ability and awesome stats in general that like actually fan it's like really helpful for fan in general having those amazing stats in line because sometimes even if you're like bouncing billions of cards back to hand. It's like actually, guys, you will not believe me, but it's actually not winning the game. It's like not winning the game, but that's like with fans. So if you guys want to play fan and you don't want to spend like 200 euros for some completely busted cards that like doing too many stuff with the reserve, then I'm always preferring like the same as Nevanga. Like for me personally, I would just like prefer like a cheap unique that have like amazing stats in general, so you can do this as an add-on, you know,
Yep.
if you're taking a look into that. So, but taking a look into that, so offenders being able to progressing on both expeditions, being able to play the Baku to actually discard a card from hand, what's not the best thing for fan in general, because as you can see, there's actually only one hand that's going straight up to the hand card, because the other one, because of the effect, will go to the reserve. And as you can see now, T2 is typing, and there's like a high chance that this could be actually the game at some point. So let's see if this will be the case. Interesting.
Yeah, just starting the turn with the Spindle Harvesters in play is also just a massive deal. It
Yeah.
means that virtually nothing that comes out easily from Fen will be able to survive even off you go, actually, as a removal spell in a lot of cases here. And because of the very few cards that Fen is working with, playing Off You Go for 4 mana from reserve might actually be just enough on its own to win the game in a situation like this. Not a very typical thing to say. Playing Off You Go from reserve, not how you want to be doing it, but definitely might work here. Baku, discount card from reserve as well. Typically, also not really where you want to be with the card, playing that out, but honestly, I think pretty much anything will do it at this point.
Yes, it's true. And there's something in French. Check cross the impossible. I will not win this game anymore. So GG, well played, I guess, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
K2 essentially saying that they have the impression that they've done everything right, but it's impossible to fight against Stefanos in the situation.
Okay.
And sort of get it. I think especially like these 1 mana Spindle Harvesters
Blaming
in this
Ephanos.
matchup,
That's good. That's good.
super
That's good.
brutal. Helping Hand just working with everything here also means that even if this Shenlong gets played out, it's likely just to get outstatted on
Yeah.
its own just by spells being played, which is kind of crazy in these spots.
Yeah.
Helping Hand does a great job.
But I like if when Ephanos is getting flamed. So it's always good. Always good, always good, always good to hear, guys. I'm not joking. Always good to hear. But jokes besides, here we go. The Ofigo will be played out. So goodbye to our little penguin and hello to an additional set buff. So I'm like, okay, so let's see. There's like the helping hand, right? If there's like no beauty sleep at all, and the helping hand is the last card to play out, then It's actually being able that fan could use the off you go.
Oh my, the turn ends with the players going even on expeditions, and suddenly
Yeah.
there's theoretically a chance for Fen to have a small step to win.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's see if this will be the case for now, because
However, unfortunately, sad to say, Fen does not play any copies of Small Step in their list, so that is
oh,
not an out for them.
mistake. I'm telling you guys, at least one copy. Take you have like around 400 mana, like more than me. It's okay. You're the better player, but bro, playing small step, it's free win. Oh boy, oh man, I was so cheering up for the fan. Bro, you need to play it. Look how easy this win is getting with that. Yeah.
That is true.
Oh man, it's so sad. No, not again. No, I'm actually happy that the Thanos is being able to win this game. Amazing.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it's so sad.
Oh,
GG.
What
Jokes
what can I
aside, guys.
say about this tournament though? With Altered Aces performing the way they did, I mean,
Yeah.
I get why they describe themselves as looking to be the best team and taking things very seriously, because in this event, it really does look like they were the best team.
Yes.
So many players from the team showing up, so many of them with crazy good results, not just like
Yeah.
undefeateds, but I mean a lot of like 5-1, 4-2. They're all pretty much up there. It's a really good finish from them today.
Yes. True. And I like. We need to do a comeback prepared next week. I am cooking hostage Rahu. Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh no. Oh no. I would tell you, Rune, you will go to rock bottom. You will stay the rest of your life in rock bottom with those decks lists. That's
What
crazy,
Rune
man.
doesn't actually realize is that what he is truly doing here is holding himself hostage.
Yeah,
So-
it's like the actual case. Oh boy. I mean, at some point, Rune, is it like actually the place where you're living right now? It's like that. It's like that the name, because you will start to be there with hostage Rahu. Boy, bro, look at this. I got the new spot. Okay, guys, I leaked it now. I leaked now where Rune is living. Here it is. Here it is. You can see it a little bit. So, oh boy, the hostage Rahu. I'm not believing. We should make a rule where we're not allowing those. And then every time, if you're playing something like that, always with our team tech. Always with the team tech. Playing a normal deck, just like with wherever I count, but then playing hostage deck, then the team tech.
Oh,
needs to be
no.
so- Okay, tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. Please no. Please no.
Every time I click on something, the game just ends. as I
Yeah,
click
it's
on
the
it,
same.
so-
It's the same case for me. So I'm still watching. So yeah, Rune, I need to find the table. So I'm finishing flaming you.
22.
22. Okay.
We have
Let's
a
go in. And
Nilam Kesha playing against some Spindle Harvesters.
yeah, that's true. And we will say, oh, the slate of hand. True Spell Harvester being out. So okay, so one of those are putting down to sleep. So
Oh, I think
But on the
Mr.
other hand-
Spindle Harvester guy is just likely winning the game on this turn. Had a really nice thing that they did there with Sleight of Hand to put a Studious Disciple into the reserve,
yeah.
which in a lot of cases lets them do just extra stuff, which is nice
Ooh.
to have. But let's see if they have another character here to take the game.
It's also
And they
yeah, it's
do.
more for
Moth
the
to a
fame.
Flame, as I mentioned earlier, counts as a spell, counts as a character. Nice job.
Yes. So place down, being able to finish the game. So GG to Sacros for winning this game. Yeah, GG Pro. Amazing. You know, I started to say pro a lot more because actually the kids in our kids club start to saying I always like they came to me like pro, you wanna play with me? And I'm like, yeah, you're like 20 years. I could be your older brother, yeah, but then it's like you're starting as a joke, always telling them like, bro, let's jump on, let's play some games or doing that, and then you cannot stopping it saying it, and then we actually start to tell us throughout the workers like pros. Even if it's like a Roman or something like that, it's like, bro. It's amazing. It's also amazing. Still some games being left. So, no, it's actually like one table. It's Caballo against Shorencracker. Oh, it's
And
finished.
it's
I would
ending.
guess the
Yep.
tournament come to infinity. So, guys, we're finished. We're done. And that's before 10. That's amazing. I think it's like almost a
And
record.
yeah,
a-
that's true. That
that's
was nice,
fast
considering this
tournament.
number of players. Pretty sweet, and the
Yes.
number of hostage players as well.
So,
Wow.
yes.
But
So,
yeah, our two undefeated players of the event. We have Izzy
yes.
Lopez as well as Altered Aces Wesh.
Yeah.
Nice job to them.
Continuing for being in the top 8 will be I named that I can't read out. Serendip. Yeah, okay. So will be Ordered Aces on place 4 with Claudius, again a member of Ordered Aces. This amazing. Aircraft 17 on place 5, where we didn't see like any game of him. That's interesting. Hurricane CTG on place 6, AA again, Ordered Aces on Techifier CC13 on place 8, and for the top 16 it will be Popiet 2, ESP Pace, Ordered Aces Popeye, Daggeroon, Orcratus, Manaka, Benhole, and Tornus. And as we can see for there now, until place 14, it's been either like the 2 undefeated players or like 5 wins, and the rest would be like a 4-2 until place 40. So GG to all players that got like the sets of 4-2, and of course sometimes you're watching like about top 16 or not, but I can tell you like that, like every game or like every deck that finished 4-2, there's a reason that there are like only 2 losers, So take a look at that. Continue then. If you're being interested in like in general about like the results and every deck that's in general, then just head out to 39cards.com. There will be posted the Mondays League and maybe at some point the Championships week. So I hope Tom will see it and doing it. Those hours, those wrecks me here, right? And again, it was an amazing cast, an amazing stream, amazing evening. The 3rd week in a row where like the tournament is completely full, or the 4th week, or it's the 3rd week? 3rd, 4th week?
Third or fourth, I can't recall at this point. But but what I can also say is at this point, I'm getting used to it, and I love it.
Yeah, that's true. It's like amazing. It's like so amazing, and it's so amazing that we're being able to cast this amazing tournament. So thank you so much. So Keelan, do you have something to add, to advertise for all those viewers? Something to say about the tournament? Now it's your turn. You can talk. I'm finished.
Yeah. Love all of you. Thanks for watching. Altered Aces, nice job today. Well done, guys.
Yeah. Okay. If that's it, then I can advertise something, because you also wanted to advertise, and it's like actually the upcoming tournaments that will come. So of course, like on on Wednesday for us, European player will be the Ordered Aces, right? Will be on Wednesday.
Wait, what? No, I'm sorry. Could you repeat what that
The
was?
Altered Aces will be on Wednesday for us European players at 1 a.m., right? Correct?
No, we have A.W.O.L. We have A.W.O.L. on Wednesday.
A.W.O.L. on Wednesday, yeah, and
As
the Altered
usual.
Aces. We have that.
I don't know any. I mean, Altered Aces is the team. I don't know if they have an event.
I mean, Outer Red Corner. I'm sorry, the Ace Championship. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Ace for season 3 is now on Sunday. So for the Europeans, like it's Monday in the morning.
Okay.
But, yeah, for those of you who are looking for a weekend tournament, especially if you're in the US, there's also Altered Corner on Sundays, which is pretty cool. And yeah, as mentioned, you have access to A.W.O.L. on Wednesday as well. Hopefully, we can buff up the player counts a little bit there as well. It's been cool seeing good turnout in those events. Of course, it's not equaling what we have on the Mondays, but Wednesday's events are pretty competitive as well. And Thursday, we have AQZ Championships. I don't know if we have another event on Friday, but there's lots of things going on. And then starting next week as well, really, really exciting, will be on next Wednesday. They're from Team Agite. I don't know if they're hosting it as a team or whether it's Meltdown specifically, but there will be a new event championship called the No Unique Championship, which,
Yes.
as you would imagine, based on the name of it, you are not allowed to use any uniques for that. So that's really exciting to see. And it's, it's very likely that you'll be seeing Pandy and I potentially commentate that as well, or potentially some other familiar faces, but I'll
Yeah.
definitely be involved.
So guys, you will never get rid of us. Isn't that amazing? Isn't
Like,
that amazing? Nah, just kidding. But guys, anyway, again, thank you so much for joining in the stream. Thank you so much for watching, commentating. It's always like it's like really a pleasure, and it's like I'm really excited for every tournament that I'm being able. Of course, like every tournament that I'm being able to actually join in with Killing Guy together. It's always amazing with you to stay on those games.
Always happy to join in for a Pandy Andy cast.
Thank you so much, sir. So, but anyway, guys, we will continuing giving out compliments after the stream. So, if you not something have to add, then I would say goodbye from now on, and we will see us on Thursday on Pandy Andy on my Twitch channel for the AQC. If nothing else is left, and maybe on next Monday if we're allowed to cast again. If no,
we'll see.
let us. So yeah,
Depends.
then bye guys. See you next
Take care.
time.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for watching.